And here we are up to session number 49 of this storyline with new players. So no longer is Jeremy, Paul and Stefan having to deal with all the problems themselves. They can now blame other people.
Or at least they can get other people between us and the problem.
Like me too.
Or kill them first and we don't know who they are.
Let's not do that. Let's be nice to people. We're supposed to be good guys.
So, I might start off with Jeremy online. So Jeremy can introduce himself.
Oh, yes, good evening all. This evening I'm playing Peredir, the proud Atruaghin clansman, ex-watchman, and now shaman of the clans, or at least attempting to live up to such a title. And as part of that, Atruaghin, the immortal, has entrusted him to go out into the wider world and improve his knowledge and understanding of how the wider world beyond the plateau works. So far, he's certainly found some interesting places.
Hey, he hasn't gone to the Hollow World yet.
Well, apart from that very short launch
I could have started. We had a very short trip down the deep elevator in the ancient citadel.
Does that really count?
No,
Well, as a player, it counts. It was way too close.
yes, it was.
Okay, so the existing players in the storyline, we have Paul.
Who is Claude Demar, who's a diplomat, pretty boy, warlock, a nice warlock, by the way, not one of those demonic model things. And he's generally in the front when talking happens.
And so totally not about to be possessed by a spirit. And the other existing player is Stefan.
Hello, I'm playing Tidal Rip. He is a Water Genasi monk, and he is currently learning different elemental styles. The main one is water, he currently knows earth as well.
I think you've been doing a bit of that.
Something like that. And he hails from the Irandi Islands.
Okay, so the new players tonight, we'll start off with Clarissa.
I'm playing Marine Nemariel. She's a Eladrin or Season Fae wizard, who is also a blade singer.
Cool.
And she's a Knight of the Order of the Tree of Life, so that may come into play.
Yes. Well,
Yep. Don't worry, there'll be some backstory coming in for that one.
yeah, I'm wearing some of it.
Oh wow.
And then the next player we have is Kelsey.
I will be playing Kupa Alani Aokai, fighter from the Irindi Islands, Makai, human, just doing what is best with the people that she's with and working towards fighting for good in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And then the last new player we have is Cameron.
Cameron, I'm playing Myron Ithados. I'm a high elf from Alfine. I lived a life of seclusion. I pretty much looked after an old ruin. I am a high elf Sun Fae paladin with the Oath of the Radiance, and I just want to smash shit.
For the good.
For the good, yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, so some back notes before everyone introduces themselves. So
He
for
killed some people, but they're all bad.
And there's Drazzle.
gets to introduce. So from Clarissa's character's perspective, so she was chosen as the champion of the Long Runner clan. So the Tree of Life chose you. And then during the month-long burial under the tree's roots, you disappeared. And the tree's refusing to choose another champion since then.
Oh wow.
And that's caused a big stink among the elves because they need a champion, and apparently the tree says it's chosen someone. Go away, because it is a sentient tree. And basically, it's been refusing to choose a new champion, and you've not been back to the clans ever since. Though, in your defense, during that time of seclusion, you were given a chance to save the elves, but it came at a price. And since that disappearance, you've been traveling with various incarnations of Drezel through time.
Oh.
Yeah, different heights depending on which version it is.
And you also learn that timelines can be valid and not valid at the same time. So you can exist in multiple timelines at once. Would anyone like a coffee or a tea?
Or hot chocolate.
Or hot chocolate?
I would
chocolate.
love a
Your
hot
order is?
chocolate.
I know what your order is,
May
and I know what your order
May I
is.
please have a hot chocolate?
Hot chocolate. Do you want a flavoured hot chocolate? Caramel, hazelnut, butterscotch, vanilla, butterscotch hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
I like the. Did you bring the mint hot chocolate?
Yeah, I got me.
May I try the mint?
Okay,
are you
let's see if that
okay,
works.
Because I've got
I'm
peppermint.
fine with that. No, that's fine.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Thank you. It's his. So, but I had peppermint syrup as well. But,
So-
but if Paul's happy to share, that works.
That's
Yeah.
Area.
Not a problem.
Um,
Just get coffee, mate.
Do you want just a straight coffee or
Yeah.
a flavoured one? Did you realise you're talking to a barista?
Okay,
Hey.
just, yeah, standard coffee.
Yeah, standard coffee?
Is it possible to get some stuff like
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. So from your perspective, you're working with present and future Drezel in the past.
Okay. Okay. I have a question.
Yep.
So I had a chance to save the elves for a price that I assumed was a very high price.
Well, the price is you're not with the elves. You're saving them by not being with them.
Oh, I see.
And by apparently, as far as they're concerned, being a pariah, having abandoned the duty.
So you'll basically, when you see them next, you'll be accused of abandoning them.
Oh, okay.
And
So
elves who
you've got
travel through time
self-management.
are so rare that it's not expected. It's not a common thing for elves to
Most-
travel.
Yeah, most people just don't think about time travel.
Unless, of course, you're Drezel. And so, for Cameron's character, you grew up in the same clan as Luell, but
It's
200.
Fatal, isn't it? Fatal?
One of the cities of Elfheim,
Yeah.
but the same clan.
Yeah.
And you chose to go into exile for your own reason and abandon the clan for over 200 years. And then basically at some point your god said enough's enough, you need to help. Get your butt moving and sent you along the path of a dragonborn to fix things.
Ah. So, who was the god that told me to stop being so lazy?
It was Ilsandel, the god of the elves.
Oh.
Also, God of Wisdom.
That's
My
a
God.
neat sword that you were just looking at.
Oh, it is.
So he is the patron of all elves.
Oh.
Whereas some of the other elves would be more than happy for you to waste your time in the forest staring at trees and going, I think it's grown.
Yeah.
Ilsandel is the no-nonsense, get it done type.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, but the thing is, he's just one of the pantheon of the gods.
Sorry to interrupt again. Does anyone
What's your
not
character's
drink normal
I'll get
skim
you this
milk?
one. Because most people
Because I
don't
have
do
almond milk and stuff like that.
a Welsh elf.
So all good? Alright. And were you happy with peppermint, Martin, or did you want to change?
I'm happy with peppermint.
W-E-L.
Okay, and for Kelsey,
So it's a
you basically became well known as a master of the waves with your character. And during the time from AC 1000 to 1003, you were helping a mother and child move around Marendi and Drezel. So you spent a lot of time with Drezel during that time. And you spent a lot of time working in the island chains. So, and recently Drezel asked you again for help.
Cool. So like, I'm buddy-buddy with Drazzle. Sweet.
Well, he is actually a water dragon as well.
Hey, there we go. Oh, yeah. That
Buddy,
one.
buddy.
Okay, so As Druzzle himself is a Dragonborn. Dragonborn have only been moving around in the world for about, it's AC 1005 at the moment, so about 5 years they've only been moving around in the world for. So in the year 1000 is the year they first became visible to the world, and he's 2 years, he's about 4 years older than that, so he is one of the oldest of his kind.
Except.
And then since people have met him, they've seen signs of him showing up in history, even though there's no recordings of any Dragonborn existing. So you might read a book and then the next day read it again and he'll appear in it.
Is that limited to time, or is it just like the book's written 100 years ago and then somebody appears in it?
He's changing time.
Yeah, okay. Figured.
Yeah.
Apparently he's fixing things. You're not sure what he's fixing or what he's fixing yet, but he keeps leaving pictures of himself everywhere. Yeah, he knows exactly what he's fixing because he's already fixed it. He just doesn't tell you what he's fixing. He says you should know what you've done if you've already done it. And so you found yourself coming to work with Druzzle yet again, as he sort of leashes your own devices fairly often. He's not the stand over you and make you do something. He's the, yeah, you'll fix this, I'll come back and get you when it's done. And then wander off. And so you've been working with each other for a little while. And then you find yourself in this area surrounded by mists and this big mansion here. And that's when you find out that Tidal, who one of the books Druzzle's worked on since you've known him, is apparently here. So a feature of one of his stories, as he's been making money writing stories about strange things that he doesn't understand, with the help of a certain Makai fighter who has a way with words. That's okay. I'm sure that would be a great thing for Tidal to find out that it wasn't just Druzzle who came up with the words. So you decided to remain anonymous as the author.
I'm the
As
ghost writer.
And so we come into the story with the three of you meeting up with Druzzle and finding Tidal for the first time. So, Tidal, describe yourself. How do you look to these people who have heard about you for probably at least 5 years now?
Probably nowhere near as awesome as the stories say.
Especially if you've read the novel.
Yes, the novel is extremely exaggerated. Do not believe it, but it is still a fantastic novel, so believe it. As far as
The novel about your romantic escapades?
It's
maybe just a little bit too much detail. But anyway,
it's very, very popular
as far as Title's concerned, it may or may not be the
because
best
it's a
in the world.
romance adventure novel.
Yes, so he's probably just wearing his usual Makai style get-up. He has a longsword with a Hydra symbol on it. I think it's air enchanted from memory. And he has a couple of water flasks attached to his sides, probably about 3 or 4, I think. And he seems slightly aloof, however. When he's not actually in combat, he seems proficient, but outside of combat, just don't mention curtains, don't go near curtains, don't... Yeah.
He has a couple of issues.
Phobias.
That sounds like a dating profile?
Well,
Pretty good.
sorry how the book came
Does
out.
the book state whether he likes long walks on the beach?
Probably does. It's very romanticized smart novel.
Yeah, and if you tell me you have the book, I will sign it for you.
Although I think the beach is involved
any
in
money?
it's still along the beach.
Okay, so Druzzle in comparison is a 6, sometimes 8, sometimes 9 foot tall dragonborn, depending on which timeline he's in. And his scales range from blue to copper to sapphire, depending on which timeline he's in. And occasionally he has wings, sometimes he doesn't. And just a few little things like that. He's never quite the same every time you meet him.
And somehow we always know it's Drazzle.
He's the only Dragon Ball we ever see.
And every other Dragonborn you have met in time has not compared to him.
Yes. Yes, we did actually have a dragon born as a PC at one point. She was a white dragon, quite easy to tell.
Drazel will find new ways to freak you out.
Yes, he will.
And you do know every time you're in trouble or hurt, he will hug you to make you feel better.
Yes.
That's
if you-
it. That's
if
the
you
only way he
need healing,
casts
go and
healing
hug
spells.
Drazel. Even if it's mid-combat, go and hug Drazel. He understands.
Okay, and he carries around 2 battle axes that he occasionally combines.
I can't remember the last time I've seen him use them.
He doesn't need to.
No,
That's what he's got us for.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Every time he's had to pull out his weapons and fight, you guys have been in so much trouble. That
Most of us been unconscious and not seen it happen.
there's also
Yeah,
been that
probably.
too.
Well, the last time he took on, 6 black dragon king, he used his bare hands. So it's like, okay. Not touching that return for the
bare hands and his wagon.
Oh, yeah, the wagon. Yeah, wagon.
If you don't go near the back of the wagon, if you go through that rear door, you ain't coming out.
Don't touch it. Bad voodoo.
But you've gone through it multiple times now.
Yeah. Well, don't go through it unless he says it's safe.
Yeah.
He never says it's safe.
My comment still stands.
Up until that moment, she was acting in blissful ignorance.
Yeah.
She'd never had problems.
He's more likely to tell you it's fine, you've been through it before. But great, that doesn't help.
Yes, especially when it's, no I haven't, yes you have.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Clarissa, would you like to describe your character for them? And then I'll point out a few other items you'll have on you when that they'll take note of.
So you see, this elf coming with grey, like dark grey charcoal nondescript robes. He has some sort of like a wide leather belt on it. He carries, you can see there is a sword strapped to the back and some weapons, like dagger. And you see she looks like her skin has sort of a very healthy glow, like she's being tanned. Her eyes are orange, and at the moment like her hair like seems very wide, even though there's not much wind, and it's a red-headed elf
Okay,
walking
and
towards you.
things you that Llewell will note when he actually sees her is that one of the swords she has on her is the champion sword of the Long Runner clan. The only champion sword of the Long Runners clan. Each clan has one champion sword.
Yes.
Legendary item.
Yes. Legendary item.
Yeah.
Right.
Only the worthy can draw it. She hasn't drawn it yet.
No.
But she was told she'll get worthy at one stage. It's basically if you draw it too early, it has a chance of killing you.
So it's the sword on
That'll
sword
work.
and the stone on your back.
On a belt. She has to carry it everywhere because she's also the guardian of the sword at the same time.
So the stone that can kill you.
Sword and the stone. Yeah. Okay.
Love it.
She has a elven cloak with the Order of the Tree clasp on it, which basically signifies high-ranking member of the Tree of Life protection detail. Only the tree keepers and captains of the detail get to wear those.
Okay.
I hope you like cappuccinos.
Oh yeah,
That's what you
it's
got.
fine.
She also has boots with the Order of the Tree stamping them. So basically, also things that help identify them as one of the chosen few of the elves.
Right. So, does that make my job a legendary item or not? Or a minor version?
And she does have a tabard of the that shows that she's a protector of the tree.
The Frog King is proving us.
I'm fixing
that
the thing.
our resistance-
Yeah.
Look at that.
So it's the sort of
Yeah.
thing that
Throwing it in your face with
elves are considered
That's
chosen
challenge-
to do this sort of job.
challenge
It's
thrown down.
it's
Nah,
the
I
highest
quit.
honorific in the elven clan is to protect the tree.
Yes.
The highest job in there is the tree keeper itself. The second highest job is protector of the tree. And you would also have heard the you would identify which clan it is, and that she went missing 6 years ago. under unusual circumstances.
How unusual is the unusual circumstance?
The tree is
Has never happened before.
It's never happened before. The tree has refused to name another champion because every time a champion has disappeared, the tree has chosen a new one. And all the champion's gear has gone missing. And the gods won't tell them where.
Obviously, she stole it all.
Obviously.
Okay. So, moving around to Cameron, describing yourself.
You see a 6 foot, a little bit short of 6 foot high elf walking through the. We're in mist, aren't we?
You just came out some mist, yes.
Yeah, so walking through the mist, but the mist is being burnt away from him as he's glowing.
It's just that cool.
He is walking through the mist holding his holy symbol, and as he's glowing, and you can see that he's got a flail, a very large, meaty looking flail with very short nubs spikes on the very end, and he's also wearing a on the hand that's holding his symbol, he's just got a black band, but everything else on him, he's wearing full armor. He's got kind of like darker blonde hair that's very typically like surfer boy wavy. So it hides half of his face, and he is pretty much just like a real eyesore. If you see him, he is very, very bright, and he is pushing the mist away as he glows.
So things that you'd also note when you see him is he's got on, with his armour, a pair of braces of archery.
So they'll have the appropriate decorations on them.
Basically, with the sign of Alpine Town itself on it. He has in part of his armor itself present is what the elves refer to as an arrow of life. It's an arrow made from the tree of life.
Oh.
Only given to heroes of worth. They have to have done something amazing to get one.
Hi, Elf. Can I tell which clan he's from?
He's got no clan markings.
Oh.
His clan has basically redacted him from their clan list because he abandoned the clan.
Mm-hmm.
So technically he comes from a clan, but the clan no longer claim him.
Yes.
And he can no longer
Come
display it.
from a life of seclusion.
He also has a unbreakable arrow as well, which is just a normal arrow that doesn't break. But these are the sort of things that elves are known for crafting. And his flail glows in moonlight. So it's a moon-touched flail. So not the big legendary items that the other person has, but again, he has access to all the abilities of those items.
What did you call the flail?
Moon touched. So it's a moon touched. It glows during moonlight. So it's considered a magic weapon.
Does it shed a specific amount of light or just light?
We'll just say light at this stage. We'll look it up if we need to.
Probably no more than the light you're already shedding.
Yeah, I don't want to be upstage.
No, it'd be about candle bright. Although if you've got it attuned, you might be able to vary that.
And then, Kelsey, describe yourself.
So.
Give me a sec.
Thank you.
Hello. Yeah. So you're trying to sell me solar power places on a house that I don't own. You're not?
Got a lot of thinking of that.
07 number. That was why I was asking. Yes, I do. So, what you calling me about? That is not the case. I don't do online trading. I'm broke. So if you're going to give me money to trade, yes, I could trade, but I'd have to trade with your money, not my money.
Sweetheart, just tell Lady Dominic when she's back.
Aww, thank you so much.
Though we are recording this for online at the moment, so you are currently being recorded and televised on the internet. So you are live at the moment. You are live online at the moment. Well, I'm not telling you all those details about me. I don't sell details like that on the phone.
Especially not when you're online.
I think at this point we should just ask him to roll for initiative and make a character.
Quite possibly. So I have to say that I'm not interested.
I'm impressed with how long he stayed on.
I know.
Yeah, he wasn't going to hang up until I actually said that to him. Most of them hang up by then, so it's quite amusing to see how long they go for.
Yeah.
That was just a random spam, another one you knew.
Yeah, so normally that number comes from people wanting to sell me solar panels. So I think
Oh,
because
yeah.
I said solar panels, he went to another page. That's basically, I think, completely what happened there.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
it's usually those numbers.
Yeah.
I usually get the ATO ones. Hello. The
Oh,
Robo-debt thing.
Robo-debt. And then I ring them
Oh,
up and
good, thank you.
just like, oh, hello.
Well, if they have to ask you who you are,
He did. He said,
then
I'm asking who's calling. I'm like, you literally have told me that you're going to arrest me and you're asking me who I am.
So you've read one donut?
I wouldn't mind a second donut. Yeah.
Oh, you've had it? Oh, so, do you want me to put a snack bowl together for you?
They'll
I'll
probably
put
save
a
me.
donut in it with some cigarettes.
Just for reference.
Oh, that's cool.
Love it.
That is very cool.
Can you?
If you send me a picture of that later,
that's
I'll put it onto the online bit.
Roll it in.
I have a pledge.
I'll swap over for a little.
That would be good.
So it doesn't take up so much space.
Okay, so
Alright,
just
does anyone else have
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
So back to your description.
Alright, so coming up behind both of them coming through the mist is a human, Makai human walking through. She has leather armor on, blue hair, blue eyes, with a trident in one hand, hand axes on her hip, walking through with almost excited look upon her face, just looking for the next adventure.
Okay. So things that you also have with you. You have 2 orbs. One helps you figure out what time it is,
Useful in your situation.
but amusingly, it'll even tell you what century you're in.
Oh.
Do they float around up?
No,
There's nuts on
Oh,
the
this is
board.
carrying them.
it's like crystal balls.
Do you have a service?
No, I could do it.
I'll
Like,
do you want to put over?
bring it over, please.
I'll do that.
And the other one will tell you which way is north. Cute. Okay, your armor helps you in water, so you've got mariner's armor as leather armor. And your trident has properties of lightning and returning. So when you throw it, it appears back in your hand at the end of the round.
Nice.
This is the trident of the axe.
The trident.
Noble trident. Very thought.
Though she can actually throw it as a bolt of lightning and it will still return to her.
Even better.
That is impressive.
Pretty cool.
That is very cool.
So yes, and now you've met the person that Drizzle has introduced, and Drizzle goes, and here is Tidal, who you've now met, who you've talked about and met previously as an older person.
Huh?
So this is young Tidal, not old Tidal, and not cranky Tidal.
I'll look at him.
No spoilers.
So I would say, I love the title. It's so nice to see you again.
I see your friends with Drago.
Yes.
I have to say, you must change your ways. At the moment, you're not aging very well.
What do you mean?
Well, you should know.
You calling me old?
No, I saw you old,
Ah,
and it wasn't very.
so he needs to take care of
Nice.
himself better.
Yes.
How exactly?
Have
Eat
to
more
work out a better,
vegetables.
have to
More
work out a better
vegetables.
diet for you.
Okay.
He's a monk. Exercising isn't.
I will work on my monk diet.
Just
Bit of
to
moisturiser
say,
wouldn't go off say either.
Skincare.
Yeah. Okay.
just quickly so you know, there's a middle drawer in the fridge that's full of soft drinks. They're free for everyone to use. We ask people to put $1 or $2 in whenever they can afford it.
Isn't
but
it the
it's
bottom
not
drawer, not the
necessary.
middle drawer?
Oh, bottom drawer, sorry, bottom drawer. And there's like different types of drinks in there. Help yourself. Is refrigerated water in the fridge door if you'd like that, and glasses in the pantry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, so yes. You've just been told how old you'll look to them.
Yeah, I know. Not 2 minutes in, I've been insulted.
No. Oh, now in the future, I
Yes.
think you need to start making bad choices.
Yes. So if you eat well and do better for yourself, then when you're that old, they won't think that, so they won't come back and tell you to do better.
So obviously you haven't.
So then they'll tell me you did well when you were younger?
Well, they're going to say, oh, you look just like you were when you're
You're
older.
you're
except
starting to
that
sound like Drazzle now, and that's not cool.
Myron
because
just says nothing.
because I can understand how he thinks. At least some of it.
Stop yourself right there. You only need one Drazzle. You do not need two.
So Myron says nothing, he just turns the light off. Just stands there and watches everyone just talk.
That's fair.
And then
Very blank. with
and
his
then
face.
Drizzle points out what you needed somewhere because you were supposed to catch up with the others.
Are you with Drizzle now? Are we with Drizzle?
He
Drizzle's with you.
appears
Drazzle
at
does.
random stages. It's just a thing he does.
He does Drazzle things when he
Yeah.
when Drazzle things happen.
We stopped questioning Drazzle things many years ago.
Yes.
So Myron, I'll just walk up to him and just shake his hand and walk away. Just give him a nod and walk off.
Drazzle's hand.
No, Drizzle hugs you instead of shaking your hand.
Because that's
He doesn't understand what handshaking means.
well, he probably does. He doesn't care, and he prefers hugging people. That's
He
not
hugged
like
you because you make you uncomfortable.
Drazzle is
Can
not-
I try and get
He
out of
doesn't
that?
notice that.
No.
Can I try and get out of
You
that?
can.
Backs out.
Give me a either athletics or acrobatics.
Is it the first time I'm seeing those two? Or did we travel?
You've travelled with them a few times.
Okay.
Acrobat.
Okay, I'll look at
What was
look
it?
at you and just
Acrobatics
like roll
or
my
athletics?
eyes like.
Yeah.
12.
Okay, so you find yourself squirming in the middle of his hug, which is not unusual.
Take that long.
Yeah.
Takes a breath.
But as he is bigger than you, it's a lot harder to struggle.
Takes a breath and just deals with it.
But hey, your God did say that it would take patience. And it would teach you more patience than being in the forest by yourself.
So he flashes a look up to the sky.
Mhm.
Looks up.
Oh, can I use my I want to use my mage hand to
Okay,
pat
so
me
you're
on the
the
head.
same one. Very well, I haven't seen you around.
What do you think Russell's actually
Spent a lot of
doing?
time with pirates.
Patting him on the head while
Yeah, but he
using
just
his-
walked away from the faction, so I feel sorry for him. Like I've seen this over and over. So mage hand to pat me on the
Just
head.
goes
Not
as
necessarily.
red. His face just goes as red as the light he was shining.
Associations.
Well, considering Drizzle has no male or female sex,
Yes.
he's just struggling.
Yeah.
Some
I've
kind of
updated my sort of picture.
Mhm.
So just for visuals for you.
Yes.
Very cool.
Okay, alright.
Yes. Except it's not silvery, of course. This being,
Mhm.
and you'd recognise this one. It's actually a sword of a tree champion, just not the same as the one you've got.
Really?
This one's a clan tree champion rather than a tree champion.
Okay.
Sword. But distinctive.
Can you see it again?
And with a wooden blade.
Oh.
Yours is legendary and probably has an entirely magical blade made out of a leaf or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the powers of those swords are legend,
Yes.
and so few elves ever get to wear them.
Yes, this by comparison is just a shaped stick.
But it is a legendary stick.
No, mine is not a legendary.
He's a legend.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
sorry. My
Yeah,
apologies.
he's been playing it legendary all the time.
No,
yeah, we know
no.
that.
The other legendary stick is actually a legendary stick.
Okay, so now Now setting the scene that you're about to walk into, the other two had been exploring this haunted mansion, trying to save the soul that was sent here to save. Drazzle always sends you to save people.
Oh.
Whether you actually know who you're saving or not, he doesn't tell you. And then he'll say you did what you needed to do and take you somewhere else.
Yes, walking off is one of his things.
He does sit and watch a lot though. So the worst time was when he was sitting with, I think about 10 different incarnations watching the same event.
Yes.
Well, no one's settling down.
Well, that was when they went to jail.
Yes, he wanted to make sure he remembered it and had it from different perspectives.
Why?
So he remembered it from 10 different perspectives.
What did you do to go to jail?
Well,
Didn't accidentally possibly maybe assassinate, but didn't assassinate someone of political power.
we assassinated one particular lord and major politician, except we weren't there at the time.
The wife of the Empress of the Alphatian Empire.
Yeah.
So the person who was the peace talker for the nation. So he was the guy who was promoting peace.
How long ago was this?
This happened 6 months ago in the game time.
Yes.
But for your guys, most of you didn't actually hear about it.
Yeah.
You've been traveling through time and doing various other things.
Okay.
Especially Clarissa's character, who hasn't heard a thing about what's been happening since she disappeared from her tree.
6 years ago. Yeah.
6 years is a long time to be away from home, especially when you don't know what year it is
That's
or
right.
how old you are.
I spent 3 years in a zombie's lap. It was a lich's lap. Well, actually, it was a tight field, but I touched something on a lich's lap and time happened.
When was this?
The time lock,
That was the time lock in the
first year.
in the pyramid.
Oh, that was in the pyramid where we spent the 3 years. Oh,
Yes.
I forgot it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that was me picking up
Yeah,
a scroll case that took me 3 years to get around to reading.
Oh, that's when I almost died of mummy rot. That's
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these interesting things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't pick
Don't
anything.
try that.
And there were a couple of people who did die of mummy rot.
But it's also where I got the, it's
Probably
also
gritty.
it's also where I got the staff from too. So.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, just random casualties, right?
Okay, so that they've been wandering around this mansion, and then they just wandered into the throne room, just in time for a spirit to come out of the throne to try to possess them. At which point, we had Praedir bring up a barrier that stopped the spirit. Just as it was circling the two Praedir and Luell, the doors opened and Tidal stepped through, and it turned and started flying at Tidal. And so I'm going to say initiative, and we'll start from there.
Yes. The cool thing is at the moment is that all three of us have goodwill saves.
Hang on, I'm slightly lost. Because didn't we stop an argument between Thingy and her brother?
You missed a session,
Oh.
You did.
and so you're busy talking to Drazzle during that time.
Okay, that's fine.
Which
That's-
explains why you're confused.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't argue with that one.
So anytime with Drazzle, definitely leads to confusion.
Yes.
Yes, because I could have mid-conversation talked to 3 different Drazzles and not know about it.
Yes.
Well, future you knew about it.
Yeah,
Or will know about it.
yeah.
Time travel particles of speech is a bit of a pain. In English. It actually does, you can actually do it in things like Latin.
Yeah, I was going to say in other languages, I think German's actually pretty good. for
German
that.
German has similar sort of things to Latin.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah,
just in English, it's
English
harder.
is a lot harder to expand that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the
but-
Latin-based language. So if you look at French, at
Exactly.
Spanish, or Portuguese, like
Yeah.
you have way more different forms of past, and there's
Yeah.
specific meanings of some forms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, each of which is Latin as spoken by the locals.
Yeah.
But yeah, the expanding on those parts of speech is a lot easier. English, being the bastard language it is, has just thrown most of them out.
Sorry, roll.
Oh, yes.
And
Already?
Yep.
Everyone?
Everyone starts with initiative.
Ooh. And then you get
You're
finish.
walking in on the fight.
Yes, then you get finish. Which makes all the other
Okay,
languages look
so-
like hikers.
What did Tidal
Finish
get?
is funny because they
22.
just
22.
combine everything. It becomes
Not
like
just combine them. They actually do
What did
parts of speech.
Mirren get?
Someone
6.
6. You're doing well. What did
That's
Nira get?
prop space for proper
Uh,
position
11.
for paladin.
11. What did Lani get?
22.
22.
Oh, wow.
What did Llewell get?
15.
And what did Praedir get?
19.
Was yours a natural 20?
Yeah, that was
It was a
an
17.
illustration.
Or
of
it was
someone
a
posted on Facebook.
Yep, okay, so same.
Oh,
Yep.
right, so here's the parts of speech direction. That's sort of
Okay, you got a natural
It's
20?
Whoever has the highest
Two levels.
initiative. Is
Massive.
each place, I don't know.
Though if someone gets a natural 20, I generally bump them up.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that
well,
they'll
we both
generally
got
get.
exactly the same.
Yeah, we got exactly the same. So what from there?
In which
is-
case, then you get to choose between you who goes first.
Even worse.
In which
Okay.
case, apparently you're going first.
Okay.
So I
It
already
makes
ordered
sense.
it in that sense, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes
So
sense.
you're taking us to where we're supposed to
So,
be.
setting the scene for you, you've opened the door, you can see there's this glowing barrier around Llewell and Praedir, and you see this spirit of this woman going around them, stop, look at you, and come straight towards you.
A spirit doesn't look hostile.
They've got a barrier stopping it, so
and she's approaching
It's
with
like I'm trying to figure out if I think that's hostile. Like,
and at this stage,
She's moving towards you with claws out, ethereal claws extended, with a silent scream on her non-existent lips.
Right, so this is time for whacking her with spells then.
Oh yes, because luckily my fists counter spells.
Yes, they do.
he does cast fist on a regular basis,
Yes, he
and
does.
sometimes foot.
I guess I
That-
will drop
that
into his
didn't
stance
come up
and
in the
cast
book.
fist.
He's multi-talented.
Well, my short sword also counts as a
As a magic weapon
yeah.
without having to be one.
Can I flame my short sword into the ceiling?
What did you just read?
You can.
Awesome.
Oh, you rolled a 1.
Yeah.
Okay, you draw your sword and it goes flying across the room, bounces and pings 40 feet up into the ceiling.
Obviously, the new people have distracted you.
Yes.
That's what it is.
You're amazed at how high it went because you couldn't have thrown it and put it into the ceiling on purpose.
Yeah.
It is 40 feet above you now.
Especially since
And stuck.
not
Thank
only
God I
are
have a
they-
ring of justice.
not only are they all new, you've not seen one of them before, and they're all good looking.
Excellent.
Love it.
Yeah,
Basil would be writing so much.
you were not the pretty one amongst the group.
Even if that was
No.
technically a failed attack, does that mean I can still punch them?
Well, I'll give you that as your bonus action
Okay.
because
I'll
it distracted
take
you
that.
enough.
Okay, I'll
Yes.
take that.
It distracted her as well. Go for the punchies. And I'll attempt to, when it comes to me, do something
That's
arcanely
13.
violent.
You do hit her.
Oh, okay. That's what is that? A 1? No, it's 6. That's a 6 magical bludgeon damage.
Okay. And she starts pushing you in what you've come to learn of as France.
Oh yeah, those bloody Francians. Yeah.
Because I said they come from France. Obviously, the language is France.
Yeah, the language is France, and they're from France, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Alright.
Okay.
Uh,
You actually get to go up.
Very French conversation.
so I will.
So- As you're attuned to your trident, you can
Yeah.
actually have it return for multiple attacks in a round.
Ooh.
Alright.
The basic power of it is it returns at the end of the round. If you attune to it, it comes back for
Every
each attack.
time you use it.
We'll do that. I'm gonna try throw it right through the spirit. See what happens. 11.
11, you hit.
I hit it, and then the
It doesn't add any extra damage for being magical, but it does have the other cool effects.
okay.
Mm.
13.
13,
That would be 15.
15,
Yep.
okay. And then with a flash of lightning appears back in your hands.
So cool.
Love it. And
Well, when you're heroes, you really got to have heroic things.
mhm.
Yes.
And I believe that's the.
You
that's
can
the end of
normally,
my action.
as you're a fighter, you
Oh,
could
wait.
have 2
I can-
attacks.
I did 2 attacks. Can I do it like catch
You
it,
do it,
spin
yeah.
around,
And throw it
throw
again.
it again?
Mhm.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, so we'll do that. So I have to roll this
Mhm.
one. That'd be 19.
19, that's still a hit.
And then,
Which is good because Cinder in 11 was a hit.
Mm.
It'd be funny if it was the reverse.
15 again.
15 more damage. You are striking it quite badly.
Mm.
As you see the spirit scream as your lightning arcs back to your hand, and you've got your trident again. Okay. Then it is Praetor's turn.
So how far are we from Tidal?
You are about 20 feet from Tidal.
And the spirit is,
Between you and Tidal.
but not actually on Tidal yet.
Not yet. Give it a moment, I'm sure it will be there.
Now, well, we shall step forward, and I will try and thrust it down with the power of Atruaghin
Okay.
through the Makuto. Yep.
So you release your barrier protecting you?
Counter protection from evil good, so I would have thought I could still actually attack, can't I? Or is it the fact that it's a sphere?
The fact that it's a sphere and it's a barrier, meaning that it will, if you approach them, then you drop your barrier.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I'll protect Luel for the time being then. But the spirit appears to have been badly hurt by these newcomers who just walked in. Is that right?
That is true.
In which case, then I will just turn around and be ready to react if necessary to other events. If it turns out the newcomers don't like other just not spirits.
There's a sword in the ceiling if it's useful to you.
You've got a sword in your hand, it's alright.
And then it's Luel.
I'm
Yeah.
going to be helpful to others at this point. I'm going to throw a chill touch.
You know Chill Charge does necrotic damage, which doesn't affect undead, normally.
Yes, but the secondary effect is what I'm actually after at this point.
Mm-hmm. And some of the secondary effects that do status effects, still
This
other
does
status
not
effects.
require to do damage.
Some status effects don't work on undead either.
Having disadvantage on attack does.
No, that's good.
That's actually what chill touch is partly
Okay.
for, is to work on undead.
Just making sure.
And in fact, sorry, it explicitly says undead have disad on attacks.
Okay.
And also no hit point recovery this round. So if they've got self-healing abilities like some of them,
That will be
Chill
good.
touch is very targeted.
You've got to hit him first.
I know. That's the fun bit. Fortunately, I now have a +3 rather than a +2. Gives me that much. 25.
25 is a hit.
Alright. They need the right dice out for this one. Just in case she's actually vulnerable to necrotic damage. 13 points of necrotic. Plus no hit point recovery, plus she's got disad on attacks
Okay.
until my next turn.
Okay, and then you, as your spell hits her, you see her basically her spirit rip apart.
I made her go poof.
Yeah, you made her go poof.
You gave disadvantage on non-death.
No, I did.
So yes, you're the first one to kill a family member.
Not something I'm going to boast about.
Of the family you're saving.
Well,
Saving isn't very good.
you can't do disabling attacks on an undead, particularly a spirit. How do you arrest a spirit?
Let them possess you and cry.
I'm not
Can you
high
put it
enough.
to sleep?
I'm not high enough to have
No.
a soul jar.
So, at which point the the other two characters walking in having just missed out on combat.
So they get to see sort of the dissipating bits of this.
Followed by a sword falling from the ceiling and clanging on the ground for no reason.
That's mine.
I used Mage Hand to pick it up and hand it to you.
Thank you.
No problem.
And then the door slams rather loudly as Razzle steps in.
Oh, Razzle.
But yes, the new entries are definitely corporeal, are they?
They are.
Well, I will drop the shield at the present time.
Drazzle, late and always on time.
Razzle is where Razzle needs to be.
Yeah.
And when? So
Yeah.
yes.
You know, I'm going to give up on trying this time anyway. Just you do.
Razzle does Razzle well.
Yes, yes, you do.
He's had a lot of practice.
Mm.
And we'll have done a lot of practice too.
And we'll do more practice.
Mm.
So, you are standing in the middle of a throne room. There is a huge throne in the center of the room. The room itself is this big domed 40-foot space up. It is probably about 100 feet across at least.
So pretty cavernous.
It is a cavernous chamber with a red carpet leading away from you further into the wing and a dead body on the throne.
Can I, without
Holding
telling-
a jeweled mace.
Greetings, new people.
Hello.
At which point Llewell notices the upstanding citizen with him and recognizes what it means. And then not only that,
going to continue smoothly.
you then notice that standing with her is the outcast of your clan. The only reason that he's not being hated is because he's a paladin, and paladins, you really shouldn't hate paladins, and they keep telling themselves that.
Yes. You can just tell them don't come around.
So you're from the same clan as him, originally,
Yes.
and you recognize him.
He doesn't recognize him
No.
because he's been away for over 200 years, and Llewell's not 200 years old.
No. But
And he's not carrying Llewell's clan symbols.
a clan legend, as in, do not touch this person, he is an exile.
He abandoned the clan.
Yes.
So Myron just smiles and casts Detect Magic.
Yeah.
Yes, you detect the presence of magic around you.
Yeah.
There's lots of magic.
So I'm going to make a will check because I'm going to keep the flow.
So if you use a first level spell for that.
Yes.
Okay.
And can I walk around the room and, well,
You'll have 10 minutes of doing so.
Okay. 18 on the roll on the die. So I'm going to continue with introducing myself and introducing your Untitled. Because they've come in with Drazzle.
I was going to say, with Kennedy accused of coming in with Drazzle, he'll actually keep an ear out to what the conversation goes on, but he's always trying to walk around the room.
Yeah. So you go and check out the mates.
So you and the other Sun Elf go off looking around while Llewell's trying to talk to people.
Well,
So
Well, they're a kindred spirits.
Do I recognize his weapon?
You recognize it as being a clan weapon, but
I can't tell his clan. Can I tell?
you can tell his clan from it.
from the decorations on it. Yeah.
And the decorations on it, just that it's basically something that it's an award you get for being a prominent member of the clan.
did I clock that on the way past?
Yeah.
What clan are you?
Same as him.
Yeah, but it
I'll
can
have to
tell
look
me.
that one up for
Wait,
you.
wait, I'm
That one.
supposed to recognize it.
Okay.
Give me a sec while I look it up.
It's
He's
fatal,
got-
I think.
He's got the clan names.
I've read
He's got those. I've never written it down because it's not been that important. Up until
Races,
right now.
races. There we go.
Um,
Because this is the first
but-
time any of his clan stuff has come up because he
Yeah.
comes from outside of the clan.
Fatal.
I've just spent 20 years working in another city as a diplomat and court functionary.
And that is, it's
So-
Feadil. And it is one of the don't really like dealing with outsiders clans.
Fead.
Dil. Feadil.
Theodore.
Oh, so there's some Fae and they're xenophobic, okay?
Yep. But much better than the Alhambra elves of Galantry, who are at the most 4.5 feet tall. Most of them range between 3 and 3.5, and they are the Spanish-speaking elves of the Zara era sort of style.
So they're like pygmy,
They're
Spanish-speaking elves.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's this close.
Very, very, very proud people who I managed not to annoy to the point of getting us killed.
Hey, you even got an invite to come back and try again.
Yes.
Doesn't happen to everyone.
No, we actually impressed them.
I don't think I've heard of an elf who wasn't a proud people.
The blunt.
Well, you will find some else who aren't proud people.
Okay, but they're individuals.
You've actually got to find their cultures. You haven't met them yet.
Oh, yeah, because they're so self-effacing, nobody knows about them.
That's the problem.
Well, obviously the paladin with is not particularly proud of being an elf.
Jeremy's character has met them, the gentle ones. They're one of the most least assuming people out there.
Oh, okay.
You could even stab them and they won't do anything to stop you.
Right. So being elves, they take great pride in being. I mean, in having.
They'll feel sorry
That
for
would
the
make
they
them
feel sorry for the
mad.
fact that you blunted your weapon on them.
I'm going to cast magic weapon.
That would make an ideal fighter. So. Apologise to
So
your
what
opponent.
race is Prodigy?
He's human.
He's a human clansman.
Yeah, if you're looking at Canadier, so obviously he hasn't said much yet, but he's
How do you spell that?
well, it's actually like the name is actually spelled Pareodir, but being a clansman, it doesn't really matter. It's a bit of a play on the words, and the idea of the American Indian, kind of like the idea of looked outside the tent at time of birth and saw a pair of deer.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
But yes, he's he doesn't care how you spell it because he's in this.
That's it. But yes, if you're looking at Canadier, you see he's about 5'5" tall, so reasonably tall for a human. Blonde skin, slightly metallic looking brown hair, now significantly streaked with grey. But obviously a fairly grizzled tribesman type appearance. He's wearing an apparently tattered patchwork robe, which you potentially, if you look carefully, you can see underneath it is what the elves might recognise as elven leaf mail. And he's currently walking around with a wooden sword with black tips in it, like as in tip poking out of the sword type stuff. And noting that, you potentially also notice the fact that he hasn't got any metal apparently on him at all. Which, if you know the clansman, that would make sense. If you don't, it might seem a bit odd.
Yeah, the elven leaf mail is not metallic.
Yes. Okay, literally made of leaves.
Yep. Whereas I'm wearing the metal stuff that's basically the same armor class.
Okay, so for the two people looking around the room, the only thing that you do notice is the skeleton on the throne seems to have a jeweled mace that seems to be made out of precious metal and gemstones.
So, Benedict first of all looking around for potential exits and or if there's anything else likely to come out of the shadows at us. And he's optically interested in a mace upon the throne. So,
Yes, except the wearer may stand up.
Though we do have a sun elf here who likes shiny
that's
things.
right.
Do you pick up the bejeweled mace?
Me?
Yeah. Because you're the other person looking around.
No, I won't do that.
Okay. So yes, and then you've introduced yourselves to each other. Drazel's just sort of writing in his book as usual.
Yes, well that was the thing what I'm doing that as I said, introduce us, then ask for your names very politely.
So do you give your name?
I do give all of our names. including titles if they're necessary. I do not mention the novel in titles, Kate.
I will
That's
say,
fine.
I'll introduce myself first, and I'll say, I am Kuba Lani Aokai. You may call me Lani.
Very well.
It's great to finally meet you after hearing all about you.
You've been talking to Drazzle, haven't you?
And it's great to finally meet you at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure Jess has told you everything. He does that. It's just a thing.
I've known a lot.
I'd be annoyed at Drazzle, but to be honest, it happens so often now I'm just used to it.
And there's no point.
Yeah. I think I got past that like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I would introduce myself and then point towards my compatriots to introduce themselves.
And you see one of them's currently staring at a bejeweled mace on the throne, clutched by a skeleton.
Yes.
You're wearing shiny cool armor.
Yes.
And he's glowing.
No, I dropped that.
You dropped that?
I dropped that.
Can you drop that?
I dropped that when we're out in the mist.
Can you actually drop it though?
Divine
Some
Sense.
of your auras don't actually drop while you're awake.
Whenever you're a friendly creature, what is it? Dark Vision Discovery. Wait, where is it?
Your auras. He's a paladin, so he shines.
Yeah, but that's my channel divinity.
Oh, your channel divinity?
Yeah, so I can't. Well, yeah.
You
I
have two
can't-
auras that I don't believe you can drop.
You may
But
choose
they're
to
not
be
necessarily
surrounded by an
always
aura of
visual
light whenever you are
walls.
conscious. You can choose to be around it. While this feature is active, you shed bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for 20 feet beyond that. You and friendly creatures within bright light have advantage on wisdom and death saving throws.
Yeah, that's always great.
Is that that's choosing it though? So I
Yeah,
can't.
Yeah.
you can choose not to have it shining, but then no one gets the benefit. Or you can choose to have it shining and everyone knows.
Yeah, but can I act it? It's not.
You can turn it off if you need to.
Yeah,
Would
because
most likely be
it's
an
not
action.
very good for stealth.
Would most likely be an action to
What-
turn it on.
It's anti-stealth in a big way, yes.
Yeah, so I dropped that when we were outside,
Yeah.
when we were coming through the mist.
Okay.
Of course, if you're clanking around in metal armor, you're probably not being that stealthy anyway.
Yeah.
Standards for return.
Considering some gives you disadvantage on stealth rolls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes.
Actually, the skill penalty for stealth in D&D 3.5 is actually realistic. For playability, they halved it for 4 and 5. Yeah, I've heard people in plate moving and get like a whole kitchen's worth of pots and pans and string them together
And drag
then
them.
walk around with them held like this.
Ting,
Yeah,
ting,
I've
ting,
seen
ting, ting,
people
ting,
in
ting.
armored combat. Yeah.
Yeah, and try and move silently.
Okay, so yes, everyone's currently looking at Mir. Mirren?
Myron.
Myron.
Um,
I'll mispronounce it many times.
So he turns around, he's just looking, and he turns around and he casts message. And he says hello to everyone via message.
Oh,
Okay, they hear him actually say the message and then they hear it again in their ear.
How far away am I?
Probably about, you're within 20 or 30 feet of them.
I'd like to whisper it.
Okay, they see him whisper something and then you hear it whispered in your ear.
Yeah, so I'll go around and I'll just say hello.
He spends a lot of time telling everyone hello.
It's one action, so.
yeah.
For each
But it's
person.
around the person.
Yeah.
I'll look at him, see what he's doing.
Apparently he even said it to the people he already knows.
Yes, I know. So I look to him. I ignore you, little elf for a bit, and look to him and said, "Don't touch that yet." Like I've just ignored everyone and said, "Don't touch that."
Some treasures are better left untouched.
Does he normally whisper in people's ears? That's kind of creepy.
This is it's a
Drizzled
thing that
then
we've learned.
He has
whispers in
4
your ear.
boundaries.
I think he learnt it from me.
Alright, I'm gonna make a will save for this one.
Of course, you can also feel his breath at the same time.
Yeah, we'd rather freak me the fuck out sometimes. Oh,
Oh my God! Where's the dice roll?
What's a will say?
That's
Wisdom save.
Oh, wisdom
Yes.
We run a new system. So.
Yeah.
And
So yes, you're currently freaked out by Drizzle whispering in your ear with his hot breath.
yeah, I'm making a will.
Okay, you run through a wall of blood.
Oh, blood.
Yes.
Where is this wall?
Through the doorway. You actually had to come through it on the way here. Drizzle had his shield up so everyone could get under it without getting wet.
Yes, and now you're doing it without the shit.
And you've got a face full of blood. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Which, as you started to run through, you remembered that you immediately commented blood.
Now I get an natural 20, of course.
Yeah. So he's fine. He's obviously distracted
The
enough.
blood was fine.
The blood was fine. and
Jack,
Jazzle
what
was
did
distracted.
What did you Drazzle do that?
Drazzle just... Me and Drazzle have a special connection.
Show us on the doll.
So you
where
banged him.
Jazzle did bad.
No. I owe him and am technically connected to his life force and he's connected to mine, so if he dies, I die. If I die, he's fine. It's weird.
Yes, so if we do the show us on the doll where Drazzle did something horrible, he will point at the head.
And I'm wearing one of Drazzle's items.
Yes.
But when Drazzle holds the doll, he'll talk about all the places that Tidal has been affecting other people with.
Then I just point to my book.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is entirely valid. That's
So I want just 1 second. And you
So Petty, having done a circuit of the room, how many exits were in the room?
I'll
Okay.
say, let's do this. Can I identify something without touching? I have to touch. Can I use mage hand to do a spectral touch to identify?
No.
no. It's gonna be your finger.
Okay, so Jeremy, there is 2 exits to this room. One exit is the one you came through with the dripping blood. And the other one is a big set of double doors following a red carpet that is about 100 feet from the throne room into the wing.
Okay. And you didn't find that there was no one else moving or anything like that in the shadows of the throne room?
There's also another one there as well, so I might actually show you on the camera.
I might
So-
need to use your prestidigitation.
Okay, yep.
There's one there. That's the one where
We
you
came in,
came
yep.
in, and that's the other one over there.
All good. So, well then, yeah, Petty will come back. I'm assuming people are probably gathering aroround the throne area.
They are gathering around the throne area, looking at the
He
setup.
will start looking around the throne itself. Like I say, he's not interested in the mace on the throne, but he's interested in what might, like I say, it's kind of dais and things like that.
Yep.
Have a look around the area. While it's also passing on that, well, apparently the spirit has passed and there is no one else present.
Yeah.
Drazzle, you've brought friends.
Drazzle just nods and looks at Tidal and winks.
I'll just shiver. And just
So
respond.
Petty will be looking around the throne.
Whatever your name is right
Okay, so the clothing on the skeleton reminds you of one of the Ambervilles that you were here to.
Like one of the portraits we've seen or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's dressed in clothes like one of them,
we
but
put the name?
has what looks to be a melted crown of some sort.
Right.
Yeah, melted into the bone of the head.
Which one?
82. I have 82.
I did see that.
He's for his paladin sense.
Now we know that Stephen was ruler of the Ambervilles for a while, but he at his passing, presumably they'd have someone else. Is that the case?
You'd assume that someone else would take the mantle.
Yeah. But like, yeah, the implication being that if they've got someone sitting on the throne, it's not Stephen.
Josh looks at it saying he's dead.
Who was he in life?
Not dead.
Who?
What
Typical Drazzle helpful answer.
Jocelyn not met person.
Where was it?
82.
Yeah.
He
84 should be.
he looks up body, pokes it with his finger and says still dead.
Sometimes you're
What
so
are you looking for the
useless.
sense?
Yeah.
Jocelyn agreed.
What a paladin do his same.
Divine sense.
There we go.
Yeah.
Whole section.
Yeah. How many of them do I get a day?
Does it
What's
say?
that?
He can
Doesn't say.
It would. If it doesn't say, then it might be he can do it as an
Yeah.
action.
looking for.
Yeah, he's an action, I think.
Because divine sense, I don't think I can do.
Give me a sec. I will
multiple
have a look
times.
at
I can do a certain amount a day.
One plus your charisma modifier.
So my charisma was so 4. I can do 4 a day. So I've already used 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my second one is it's not detecting It's
No,
not-
you can see
it
some
doesn't
people.
detect good and evil. It detects.
It detects
Undead
good and evil
celestial
being.
No, you can use consecrated or desecrated stuff too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not actually detect good and evil.
Which,
Yeah.
So,
So
But if it
Consecrated.
hasn't been consecrated or desecrated, it won't show up to me.
yeah.
And if
So-
it's not a celestial fiend or undead, that's not behind.
I'm just
total
wondering
cover.
if the item is cursed
Yeah.
before the catch. That's the
Yeah, curse, that actually takes a different spell. That's detect curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paladin's not going to pick that up. If it's an evil curse,
I mean, I can divine
as
smite
in
it, but
it's a desecrated thing, then it's the act.
Break it. It's like,
Oh, you can actually pick up holy things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing.
But as
Celestial
far as
demonic.
Has 10 minutes passed? Getting close to 10 minutes? Because I've still got to take magic up.
You got to take magic up.
Is there
You're taking
anything
magic
magical
on the people, but not on the.
Not on the weapon or the armour or the skeleton or any parts of the throne or anything else like that? Okay.
I glance over in that direction. The only magic stuff I see is here.
I'm just standing next to it.
Mm.
I've cast message, I've said hello, I've introduced myself from a distance and
Mhm.
I'm just standing
Yeah.
next to it, just looking at it.
Okay, I think we should go check the corridor.
I'll go with her.
Okay. So you go to the big double doors.
Or you want to try the side door first?
So the big double doors are about 100 feet that way, and then the side door is about 50 feet that way.
Which one has the red carpet?
So basically, if you did your detect undead, you wouldn't even be able to detect the entire room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that prep though.
No, the divine sense would detect undead in the entire room, but only it would get about a
30
quarter.
Yeah,
of the
it's
room.
only so, I'm sorry, 60 feet
Yeah.
from me.
So yeah, half this room.
And it's-
half the throne room.
It can't be behind total cover.
Yeah.
So if you have undead hiding
Yeah.
behind a
Yeah.
wall.
If they're buried,
They can hide in walls.
Yes.
if
I
they're
know.
buried or if they're in a coffin or something, I can't.
That's
I
right.
can't.
So a room full of coffins, you wouldn't pick anything up until they all stood up.
But would that count just for if something's been undead and put in a coffin, does that coffin then become desecrated?
No. It would actually
Because
have.
that would work.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's where undead is. That's where dead things are supposed to
Yeah.
be. Now, a desecrated coffin. Yeah.
Peter, you'll go over and have a listen at the side door to see if you can hear anything on the other side.
Okay, listening at the side door, you may actually hear something. Let's see. It also depends on how well his listen goes for him today.
Yep. Perception of 24.
Okay.
Just I happen to have.
You hear some popping here and there, and a little bit of hissing.
Popping, did you say?
Yep,
As flare, as far as.
and some hissing.
And hissing. Okay. Yeah. I will. Yes. See, look at the others that. There's certainly something on the other side of this door. Does it sound like the sounds of life, or is it talking sounds of environment type popping and hissing?
You're thinking more environment, but you're not sure.
Okay. So, while I'm waiting for the others to get move away from the throne, I'll have a look at the door and see if I can see any traps or any concerns.
I will move away from the
Perception of 13.
Okay, you spend some time looking for traps while everyone's doing stuff. Yep. So what's the paladin doing? It's up to you.
Well, still checking out the room and things to do with it.
Were there like a ton of stuff?
There's no statues in this room.
Oh, different.
That was in the chapel.
Yep.
I'm going to look at the mace.
Yep.
No touching it. To see if there's any mark, any designs or anything on that I can determine anything about.
Well, you think it's probably worth about 10,000 gold,
And is entirely non-magical.
and it's entirely non-magical.
Get Joseph to pick it up every time.
Did I convey? I didn't convey that, did I? I didn't convey.
No.
But yeah,
But
so you
But
didn't
the
say
merchant
it's
side.
magic,
yeah,
but the law got its own way of detecting.
yeah.
There we go.
Something that will come up later, but I'm not mentioning right now. I see magic all the time.
Whereas you can spend 10 minutes to do a detect magic without using a spell.
Me?
Yeah.
Because you're effectively doing it as a ritual.
Oh, it take 10 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that detect magic was a cast, it wasn't it?
I know. I mean, saying you can do that as well.
Yeah, that's a ritual and a...
And a spell.
A ritual and a spell.
Yeah.
And while you've got it prepared, you can use your ritual without making a roll.
Without making a roll.
If you don't have it prepared, you can pull out your book and you detect magic without preparing it. But you
Yeah,
then,
okay,
but you then need to make a religion roll.
Spell in your mind.
Yeah.
The roll you'll normally succeed at, like it's not normally a difficult roll, but it's still a chance of failure.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so yes. Is anyone wanting to do anything while you're here? There's this really expensive shiny thing sitting on the throne, tempting people.
I'm not tempted.
Okay, so tempting the other elf.
I am extremely tempted to the point where if I'm not going to pick this up, I'm going to have to make a roll.
Well, you can pick it up anyway.
I'm going to. Unless someone stops me.
You are going to have to pry it out of the dead hand of the person holding it.
I've gone through
So maybe the skeleton will stop you. How strong are you?
What cantrip do I have?
Oh, just
You
one.
had green flame blade last time we spoke.
Oh, just one.
What's prepped?
125.
Green flame blade was the one you had
Quite
prepped,
done prep.
Yeah.
and then you
Message is one I get all the time.
message you have all the time, and the
human
resistance one
equivalent
you have
is
all the
like
time.
20.
So you can change out green flame blade.
Plus,
So resistance all the time.
he
And
has
message all the
an
time.
effect on him, which means that he's basically got to go for the money.
Yeah, he's greedy. Okay.
Can I... Do I see that Lewin's looking at the touching it? I would like to cast
Knock you back across the wall.
as a resist as a
Sleep. Like.
You can cast grease on it. There is a grease spell.
just gonna whisper. I'll say really quietly, just wait, and
Okay.
walk up to him and just touch him and cast resistance. So I'm concentrating now.
Yep.
Until I make
Pull out and I put my little.
until I make my ungoing back off roll.
Okay, so you have a woodland smell about you as well while you're resistant.
Cool. Sort of matches the stuff that I end up with.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Someone smell forest.
Isn't that lovely?
It's the fresh forest
I
scent.
don't know. Not used to it. For the sea.
Same.
Well, yes.
Oh gosh.
You
You nosy
and
babies.
I do have yes. and I
Magic
have
magic does reflect where you get it from.
Okay. Now resist is just a +1, isn't it?
Plus a D4 to a saving throw of your choice.
Right. So I add a D4
To a
whatever it's
saving
got.
throw.
Yes.
He's
Yeah,
making
you
a
have
will
to
save.
be full capable,
Are
yeah.
you making wisdom save?
Yes.
Okay.
You already did, so just roll. Yeah, just roll
So I just roll that. I add 1. 19 total.
Okay.
Can I back off?
You can back off about it, but it is shiny.
I know it's shiny, but I'm going to be good about it.
But the skeleton doesn't want to give it up.
And especially, the skeleton doesn't want to give it up. And the last time I grabbed things from a skeleton sitting in a chair, I was in a stasis for 3 years.
And I got mummy rot.
And you got mummy right.
And let's face it, considering what we are, where we are at the moment, it's no different.
That's true. Plus, of course, once the curse has been lifted through this place, considering that's what we're doing, I can come back and get it then. Brilliant.
Still there.
Yeah, sure.
Depending on how much you have to give back to the owners of the house.
That's a point. It does belong to them.
But it
And
could
we
go
don't, and
missing.
we don't have looting rights. And it's hard to hide.
Right, you think they'd miss the royal scepter?
Yeah.
Just put it down the small of your back and be fine.
Work for Wonder Woman and a sword.
Don't give him like shitty ideas.
It's a mace. They're sort of, they've
It's-
got depth.
It's a little recognizable as well. So I would,
I'm pretty sure those,
also,
those
like,
are the house
even if
colors.
it's not cursed, it's at least bad luck for that
It's
person.
very shiny.
So no.
I know.
It's probably got a gilded head on it.
No, it looks like to be made out of real gold.
Yeah, I knew that already. I could tell.
Yeah.
With
You're not hungry,
inlaid
you do not
silver
eat this.
and really finely cut gemstones of unusual quality.
Exactly. Everywhere
It's not
you
like
go,
that the
people
Ambervilles
know
have been
where you
skimping
came
so
from.
far.
Yes, and I had to get a 19 to back off from picking it up.
So what?
I'm going to face away from it.
And you can see Drazzle's currently sketching it.
I think I'll leave it at that for the moment.
I want to see what Trazzle's called it.
He's listed it as Llewell's Bane.
I like it.
Who else pain?
Almost enough that I want it, but not quite.
If I find out about that, that's going to prey on me.
My next card should be like message, so I can't answer back.
As you walk away, Drazzle talks at the throne and he says, "I'll be seeing you again." Walks off.
Do we need rope?
I got rope.
No, I don't.
Can we tie that up? I don't like what Drossel just said.
Tie what up?
The skeleton.
The skeleton.
What? Do you ever like what Dressel
It's
says?
gonna come back. It's gonna mean that he's gonna see him in another timeline.
Yes, I know.
I don't know. Dressel's
Or
suspicious.
we'll see it again because the skeleton has got up and has come after us.
Nah.
Yeah.
Or someone else has taken it from the skeleton.
He'll
and has come
tap
after
you
it.
on the shoulder and say, "Did you want this?"
Please
Stop
don't.
And then
dreaming.
punch you.
No, it's not gonna happen.
No? Okay.
No. Let's go. Let's check.
You
one
haven't
of
seen the
those.
cover plate of book 3 yet. It shows Llewell holding a jeweled mace, stepping over a dead body.
Oh no.
And then it's Tidal lying on the ground.
I start walking towards Benedict, helping him out.
I'm
What are
going
you
that
doing?
way. I will go and help Parody because otherwise I will think about this. And I'm going to think about this all day.
Look, I'm proud of you. You made the right choice. I'll pretend I don't know the paladin did something.
Okay. So yes,
Thank you.
you've reached the side door that Prey has had more than enough time to adequately search it for any sort of trap or.
Did he find it locked?
No, it was actually unlocked.
Okay. Okay. If people, okay, he'll be waiting there for a bit. If people do arrive, he'll wait for them to go there. Otherwise, he'll head to the other door. But apparently, you come back. You start heading towards his while I'm still there.
Yeah. So as you start to head to the other door, they all start moving towards you.
Okay. I will mention that. Well, there's something on the other side. I'm not certain whether it's living or active, but it's certainly noisy.
Is there a keyhole on the door?
No.
No.
No lock.
No lock? Are there handles on the door?
Yes.
At some point I'll have to introduce my bag of holding to you as well.
Better deal except to open it if people want to be ready, if they want to react.
Hey, there's something on the other side.
Because he's used to being the person that has to open doors, but he's also normally used the person that has to really react too. So he's happy to see someone with a couple
open the
other
door.
big heavy types that might react faster,
Wait,
or
poke
at
the door
least
first.
more obviously.
What was that?
Poke the door first. It might react and want cheese like last time.
Maybe the
What?
trident.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll, I'll,
What about your magical
It's a
stuff?
different
Can you touch it with the
Oh.
magical stuff?
I will knock on it with my trident.
Okay, you knock on it with your trident. Unfortunately, no one's home. No one answers.
Alright. It seems like a door.
Yes.
Though I can't tell what would be on the other side.
Well,
We'll find out.
She's
You opening the door, Parody?
Pettinger will open the door.
Right.
Does it come towards him or away from him?
It comes towards you.
Okay, he'll basically use the door and
Discover.
stay behind it as he opens it.
Before he does that, I'm gonna cast mage armor.
Okay. Well,
just in case.
You may have already cast that.
Yeah, mage armor is something you would normally cast.
Yeah,
all the
but
time
I
anyway,
just
so, yeah.
forgot to say. So
All good. I assume you've got it up.
What? Did Prey did, names are going to be terrible for me, sorry. Until I
They will be.
Right.
It is pretty.
Oh, Prey did you explain what it sounded like?
He said it sounded like popping and hissing, but it didn't necessarily sound like active movement type stuff. Possibly more some environmental effect, like water running or type pieces, but yeah.
Someone making tea.
Okay, so
But certainly indicating be ready as he opens the door.
as the chamber opens, a cloud of gas starts coming towards everyone. And
sorry.
a cloud of gas starts coming towards everyone.
He said any colours or anything like that?
Various colours, actually.
Various colours.
Yes.
So,
So backing off is it?
Blues, pinks, oranges, with some purples.
I step back immediately.
So the fact probably take Peter a bit longer because he's got to be. He was staying behind the door anyway, and if he starts seeing you come around the door, he will step away from the door as he sees other people start to step back.
Okay, so as you see everyone start to step back, you get a whiff of cedar, saffron, and ambergris.
Okay.
As you then notice a cloud of gas pass over you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that everyone?
That was just people who didn't back away from the door and the gas, which was Praedir who got stuck behind the door.
I didn't back away.
Then you got that as well.
Okay.
So it smells of incense.
Cool.
Detect magic is down now.
Detect magic for you is down, but you do have detect magic on tap next to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since the is the gas blocking vision at all into the room?
It is not. But it had to dissipate a bit for you to actually see clearly into the room. Apparently,
and that's it. Obviously, from Peter's perspective, he obviously didn't step back quickly enough, but then didn't die, so he's probably going to start looking around the door.
Reminds you of the head shaman's hut when you were learning your shaman craft.
Indeed, yes.
Looking in the room, the first thing you are greeted by is intense blue. The best way to describe this room is blue.
Right.
The floor is covered in an azure coloured carpets.
Did you ever die?
Very
Can
much
I do
so.
detect magic for everyone? I want to do detect magic and make everyone see it.
Are you using a spell or a ritual?
I'm going to use a ritual.
It'll take you 10 minutes to do so.
No,
so
just use a spell. I don't care.
then if you got it memorized,
Yes.
then yes, you get to take magic up, and you see what Luell sees, that there is nothing magical there.
Oh.
Just fun smells.
And
Smoke.
the room contains a pair of plush settees and matching ottomans, all in dyed blue. A multi-hued blue stained glass window looks out onto the grounds of the castle. And there are blue curtains around the windows itself.
Nope, not in there.
Just a decorated sitting room.
All tied nicely, bound in place.
Nope. I'm staying outside.
What is it wrong with the blue runs?
No, it's the colour. It's the issue, not the colour.
Oh.
But you can't see anything moving in there other than the wafting
And
vapours.
You can also see that there are blued metal incense burners in each of the corners, where you can see the various incense burning and popping and hissing away.
Right.
Oh. Interesting.
And basically making this a heady room to have your blue period.
Oh.
Are there any other exits from the room?
There is another exit from this room. You have to pass through the heady fog, but you can head further east into the castle alongside the throne room.
Is there a window in this room?
There is a blue window in this room. I'm showing you the blue fog outside with this blue tint.
Well, okay. Pettidy will go in and
There is a blue fog outside.
have a look around.
The
He will go to the window to see whether or not, okay, because this is the first window we've seen in this area of the castle.
And outside you see that the fog is now meters from about 10 to 20 feet from the edges of the property.
So it's still closing in. Marvellous.
Is that the same fog we walked through?
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that.
I think it was a creature though.
Oh, do worry about it. Just no more than you already are.
Now,
Pettidy will take a look around the room, take a look under the ottomans and whatever, the chairs and stuff. So
Okay, they've got more words in that France thing underneath of them. I have no idea what it says.
Can
enough.
I check?
You have a look. You never learnt this French language.
Can I use comprehend languages?
You can use comprehend languages.
Works for me.
Okay, so you cast comprehend languages, and the words shimmer in your vision, and it says made in Aubergine.
ensure you use a blue rinse when washing.
And it does have instructions for cleaning and care.
While I'm doing that, can I read anything else that is useful?
Looking around, there doesn't seem to be anything else here that's written.
I want to try to open the window.
The window's stuck.
Wait, I'm so tempted to do that now.
Did you read something on the curtains?
Well, she moved over to the window to start opening the window, but the window seems to be stuck.
Oh, okay.
But the curtains are moving while she's doing that.
Nope. What's
Moving
the
back himself.
What's the?
Well, he can't tell. He's too paranoid of them.
What's the distance from the door we just entered to the other door in this room?
Well, you can walk along the wall and avoid the curtains completely.
Can I go ahead and go in
around the room.
and knock the curtains down?
You can.
I will knock the curtains down because I know.
Give me a strength check.
Alright.
I didn't even get the physics. I'm walking along the wall to avoid curtains.
You can walk alongside the wall. So
On
the
the
curtains are on the far wall that point out.
far wall. I thought they were okay. Yep.
13.
13. Okay. With some strength, they seem to be fighting back. You manage to rip them off the wall. It takes you a moment because it just didn't come straight off.
Get 'em, get those
And
curtains, get
then
'em.
they sort of start drifting towards Tidal.
Shit.
They've come for me. Whip out the sword.
You want to go for the curtains?
Damn.
Okay. Give me an attack roll.
They're floating towards you.
They've done this before, bastards.
And sometimes he's rolled a 1 and tangled himself up in there, and the curtains
That's
have
an
won.
18.
And panic.
Okay, you split the curtain right down the middle.
I'm
Excellent.
presuming they're made of silk and are just wafting through to him.
Technically, yes.
Breeze. But yeah, they're attacking him because.
Can I pick the pieces?
Tidal.
Yes, you pick up the pieces that they've been.
I'm gonna soft like you just ruined silk.
They're nice and soft, and
Yeah,
they're
I'm getting it.
but they
They're
ripped and
evil.
cut.
That's okay. I can use it for something else.
These curtains are evil. They'll come alive and attack you. We've seen it happen. Did it not happen?
No, it didn't.
Yes. Kennedy, having seen it happen, has gone to the other door to listen to see if there's anything from next door.
Okay, as you approach the door, you get a cold shiver.
It wasn't the curtains
Cold
themselves.
shiver.
Cold shiver as in temperature, or cold shiver like the kill of the grave type cold?
We'll go with temperature this time.
Being a spiritologist, I figure you can probably tell the difference.
As I said, this time we'll go with temperature.
Yep. So, okay, well, okay, he will continue to approach the door
We've got the curtains.
cautiously and touch it briefly with his hand to see whether it's particularly emanating
It
cold
is
or
cold.
it's cold.
Yep. The
Okay.
blue door out of this room is cold, and the door is painted blue as well.
Can I hear anything on the other side?
Okay,
Yeah.
as you listen.
A total of 11 with my plus 10.
Okay.
Wow.
So a critical failure then.
I think that didn't stick.
Okay, so as you went to listen, you accidentally got your ear stuck to the door,
I was going to say, it's the typical, at least I wasn't looking at it.
and you seem to be having trouble pulling your ear away from the door.
Oh.
Could you concentrate on the stomach?
Well, his ear's stuck.
What do you hear, Predator?
It's cold.
He must be
Is
hearing
your
a
ear
lot.
cold?
He can hear cold. Where did you learn this?
He's a man of wisdom and learning.
What if this is some sort of
Apparently.
like refrigerated place? Like,
I'm a
Oh,
water Schneider. I
food.
can't even hear cold.
it's just some food preserving.
25 on knowledge nature. Kennedy will carefully rub around it to release his ear.
Okay, so spinning a few rounds, he rubs and then slowly pulls his ear off.
I think it was just cold. He got stuck in the
You can see an ear imprint of his ear on the door.
the cold door.
So that was ear cold, not hair cold.
Right,
It could
gotcha.
be that there are bodies in there. Maybe they're preserving some corpses in there. And the best thing would be just, they would be preserving food, but it could be.
There's certainly something
Could be
unnaturally cold on the other side.
So maybe it's just magic to preserve food long term.
So Jazzle's hot.
That's still unnatural, isn't it?
I will share that one with you.
Okay, yeah.
Ah.
I bet Kennedy didn't hear anything while he was carefully rubbing away.
He heard a lot of rubbing.
Yep, okay.
Thank you, Mark.
But yes, it's obviously there's something freezing on the other side. But
You want
didn't hear anything.
Can you use your hand? Do not get my hand stuck.
Okay, so how much weight can Mage Hand move?
Try it.
I never
Of
think
course,
you'll
try
lose
it,
that. It's about
It's up to a pound or up to a 10 pound. One of the
I
two.
think it's 2 pounds.
I think it's 10.
10 pounds is about 4.5.
But does it actually
kilos.
say you can open and close doors?
No, I don't know if it says, it just says
I'll
he can
double check.
carry objects or.
Mage hand.
So it has to be able to manipulate.
Yeah, mage hand is lift and carry.
Mage hand.
Because there used to be open close as a cantrip that did the open and closing of doors.
That's right.
Manipulate an object, open an unlocked door or container.
Oh,
Then you
okay,
swing
Sell
it.
or
I'll
You
retrieve an
combine them.
item.
Okay, cool.
Um,
So
The
you
hand
can,
can't pack, activate magical items, or carry more than 10 pounds.
it's about
Yes.
4.5 kilos.
but you can do this with it,
Mhm.
and you can do this with it.
Okay,
It's just 'cause I know
so
it's cold, then you got stuck.
the door opens and a cold blast comes in.
Ah,
Nice.
the fridge with the ice cream.
And you notice all the nice smelling cedar just drop to the floor.
Oh. I think, you know what? I know. There is incense in this room, and the corpses are there, and the incense should keep the smell away.
Maybe.
Can we
through,
see anything coming out of the room other than cold?
through the open door, you can see what appears to be snow sitting on white carpet.
It's snow?
Yeah.
A pile of snow.
On white carpet.
Who keeps snow
This-
on a carpet?
Or carpet. It's gonna blow.
Maybe it's just
Okay, what can I see with my
What is with this
detect magic?
fancience?
Okay.
weird.
I'm going to keep my snow in a carpet.
Still on?
Is it the snow? Is the snow just sitting there, or is
It's
it
a thin layer of snow on top of the carpet.
Oh, a white carpet. Okay.
So like powdery snow.
Mm.
Okay, you see no magic in the other room.
No magic inside. Not in the snow either.
Not in the snow either.
Poke the carpet.
But as you look into the room, the first thing you notice here is it's white.
The
So
whole
we're in a
room is
full
just
The
blue
whole
room.
room
Can we
is
see-
white.
And now
Can we
full
see
blue.
any exit from the room?
The walls and ceiling there are ivory coloured with small drifts of snow forming mounds along the base of each wall.
Is that a
You see
season?
pale silver incense burners emitting thin smoke in the corners of the room. You can pick up jasmine, ginseng, and mandrake root.
The cool room.
Yeah, maybe a winter room.
And covered in a light layer of frost,
the whole place.
2 white lounges, each with an accompanying white side table. And when you look over at the window with its nice white curtains, is a giant 6-legged lizard staring directly at you.
He controls the curtains. Get him!
Why?
Because he controls the curtains.
How do you know?
Because he's standing next to them.
Which
I stand next to
He's
curtains on a regular
outside.
basis.
Yeah, but I know
don't-
you.
and
He's outside.
you do recognise it as a frost salamander,
Oh,
So he's
They're
what's
outside.
making it cold.
okay.
creature of water.
Oh,
But it's
okay.
creature, it's making the place cold. This is
Yeah,
the
that's what I
fridge.
thought. Yeah.
So yeah,
So you have to
I guess-
maintain
I
a
guess it's
refrigerated
not
room.
So bad, but I still don't like those curtains.
that's because you don't like any curtains. Whether
I'm not
they're
going to do
innocuous
anything
or
with it.
not.
I just is there another
Were
door?
there any other exits, Martin?
There is another
Yeah.
door. You can walk across the room and avoid the salamander completely.
Yes, I would like to. There is no reason to do anything.
So you'd have to cross about 70 feet of snow carpet.
That's a big room. Yeah, yeah.
All of them are big.
It's 40 by 70 feet.
Yeah.
They're
I
all
haven't
big.
seen any of this.
Yeah.
Mm.
We
I'm
walk
still
we
I'm
walk
still in the blue
through.
room.
You still in the blue room?
It's cool.
Okay.
Oh, we're all still in the blue room.
No.
Because we're looking into the white room.
Yes.
Yeah, they're looking into the white
None
room.
of us have stepped in yet.
And they've described it.
Now we do.
Is there is the door
One
to the from the blue room into the
It's white on one side and blue on the other.
the main hall still open?
Yes.
I stick my head out there and have a look, see if anything's is in there.
There's that glinting mace on the throne.
Nothing else though, just the same thing.
And you can see the mace clearly even though it's over 50 feet away. It's like it's beckoning you.
I just need to check something.
It's shiny.
Has anyone stepped into the white room?
Before I do that, I just want
I
to
want to
check.
wait for somebody to step first.
I'm going to step in and have a
Out
look.
of character, does my character like shiny things?
No. But I will keep mentioning things like that.
Ah,
If a character decides that they're going to go for something,
Yes.
then it's up to them if they take it.
Yes, it's the GM rating you.
So as you going to step into the room?
I was gonna wait. I was gonna follow.
Okay, so Llewellyn steps into the room. It moves to face you. The lizard.
The salamander.
Salamander, yeah.
As in it moves from its position, or just keeps turning its head towards him?
Well, it stands up, turns around, and sits back down again. So he's staring directly at Llewellyn.
I'm going to stop moving.
And the curtains sort of move a little bit behind it.
I'm going to step back out of the room.
Give me a perception roll.
You distract him. I'll get the curtains.
It may be. This is simply behind the curtains. Fortunately, perception is trained. Excuse me, 21.
Okay, you pick up a rotten egg smell coming from the salamander.
A what?
Rotten egg smell, sulfur, sulfur dioxide.
Does a salamander make sense?
Yeah, well, this is a cold salamander, but yes, sulfur smell.
From what we've understood of the family members so far, we've got no reason to think that any of them would keep a frost salamander as an actual pet, do we?
You'd believe that they'll keep anything as a pet.
Wasn't one of them like?
Well, I can imagine they'd keep any animal, but they're sort of, as a loved pet, probably not. In some cases. So.
You don't think they have anything called beloved?
No.
What
Right.
about that really super powerful wizard booty person?
The one you're trying to save?
Yes,
Yeah. Maybe you keep with us.
yes.
Well, hey, it's a cheap way of chilling things, so it doesn't require magic.
Yeah, you just have to
It's a
feed it.
portable freezer.
That's right.
Okay. Can I do a nature check to see if I assume what it could want to eat? Maybe I can throw some food at it.
Okay. Give me a natural.
Rolls a one.
Okay, so make up exactly what you think it will eat, and then that's what you'll throw.
Okay.
For the record, I'm not volunteering.
I think normally we'd eat like.
I don't think
What does your character think? It doesn't have to be a normal thing.
Yeah.
You can make it up anything as outlandish as you wish.
Okay. Obviously, it eats diamonds, because that would be ice cold type stuff.
Or maybe it eats ice.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to make a little snowball
There we
with
go.
the snow thing, and I'm gonna roll towards it. I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna just roll, like try to roll it towards it.
Okay, give me a strength check. Make an athletics roll. Athletics roll would be good.
16.
On a caster.
16.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, it bounces all the way up to it. It just looks at it and stops it with its nose, and then looks at you.
So it looks at it.
It's obviously not hungry.
Yeah.
Or it wants you to come pick it up so you can.
And then you just notice the whole ball just fall apart as it blows on it.
Oh, it just melted it.
He just broke it with his breath.
Gotta
So
remember
a
this place.
cold
It
salamander
last
has a
ate this morning.
cold fire
It might have been a
breath.
century ago, but it last ate this morning.
Cool.
So it's not hungry?
It might not.
Well, none of you have been hungry since you've been here.
That's right.
Mm.
None of you have been tired since you've been here. None of you have aged since you've been here.
How are we all positioned?
You've got one of you in the doorway rolling ice, a little snowball at it. Llewellyn standing in the room going, "I'm not moving."
No, I did say I'd get back
Yeah,
out.
you
Okay,
went out.
then you got
And
back
then-
out,
and then that happened.
and
So
so
I'm like,
most of them are then staring into
So
the room
I'm
from
watching
the blue room.
all of them cluster around the door.
Yeah.
That's right. So
I
you're being
will
bad.
walk past, take 2 steps into the room, using the bottom of my trident to poke the carpet ahead of me.
The carpet doesn't die.
And,
matter how hard you
I look,
try.
and I look at the
Can I ask you a
salamander.
favor? Can you please
Yeah.
Is it
spill
watching
water?
me?
It's watching you the whole
Can we
time.
tap water?
Give me a cup
Can
as well.
I roll?
So-
Thank you.
The frost salamander looks something like that.
Oh, it's
No,
beautiful.
Yeah.
It is like a dragon. It's an elemental of water.
Okay,
I love it.
So, Jeremy, that's the picture for you.
Oh, very nice, very pretty. With these 6 legs.
I know, right?
I know it's. Well, I assume I know it's an elemental.
You do know it's an elemental. That's why you recognise it, because you've been studying those sort of creatures.
Am I able to sit down and
Can you talk?
pray to?
It speaks primordial.
I think I speak.
I think you do.
I speak primordial.
Yeah.
It's-
Can I pray to
In primordial.
Proteus?
Proteus? Yes.
You could, but he might not listen because you're not currently in the world.
Oh yeah, that helps, doesn't it?
Why don't you talk to it?
And at this stage, you might not even have been born. So he might not listen to you because...
Yeah, he's gonna. Who's this guy? Yep. Okay, cool.
So who's at the back of the cluster?
Uh,
So I'm in the
I
room.
will-
I'm still in the.
So you're at the back of the cluster because
I'm
you've already asked
already
me
in
up
the
to
No,
room.
the...
I'm not near them. I'm just in the
They
room.
possibly
I'm pretty
maybe-
much
That's
just
what I
in
said.
the room full of them.
The one at the back of them?
So
Well, that would
who's-
probably be the Makai pointer.
I just walked back. I just walked into the room.
Yeah, just walked
Okay, in
in.
which case then, well, the well's probably at the
Yeah,
back.
they are gluten
Yes,
free.
the well.
And
So
now,
I'm gonna walk up to.
Gluten
Well,
free
Byron will walk
sesame
up to the
zaps.
well and just.
Sesame zaps. They're gluten free. Yeah. There's more when you want.
I'm good at the moment, thank you. I had too much sugary death.
I
they're
will
checking out the
try
salamander.
and call Title in to see if he can
Leave
maybe
it and
talk.
keep going.
Okay, you see the curtains move again.
Right.
Give me a will save.
Oh.
You're going to leave that
You
salamander.
enchanted a cousin, I think. You cursed your cartons. They're normal.
That's 15.
Okay, so you're not really sure what's going on with those curtains, but you get another intense methane sort of rotten egg smell.
Oh.
There's something behind
You
those
distract the curtains, and I'll talk to the thing.
Okay.
Gotcha. Am I getting the egg smell with the curtains too?
You're getting that smell too, yeah. But
Okay.
as far as you're concerned, you're not really sure what's going on with Tidal, but he always has this thing with curtains.
Yeah.
No one's been able to explain it, at least Rezel doesn't care to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to walk about 10 feet in
Yep.
and
Basil's very sick.
politely bow
Yep.
to the frost
Frost
Salamander.
lizard salamander and speak to it in primordial with greetings.
And how do you greet it?
Oh great water elemental, what brings you to this frosty realm?
He looks at you and goes, magic.
So you are a being of magic.
Yes.
Can you
Well,
explain?
more elements than magic.
Yes.
And when you starts going into this whole thing about how the elements are made up.
I'm going to turn to Drowsy and go, is he a friend of yours?
Dress will speak to many drakes.
Because he sounds like you.
I take a compliment.
After hearing Tidal and the creature warble on in some random unknown thing, Peter, will I? So, are we free to go through?
I'll 1 second. Are we allowed to pass through your realm, oh water elemental?
It agrees because you've asked so nicely.
Thank you. And if I may ask, what will you do with the curtains?
I was startled. I'm sorry. He seems to look embarrassed. You get a more methane smell.
Oh, okay, right. He's nervous, therefore he is flatulent.
And you see the curtains wobble as he does that.
So those curtains apparently are enchanted, which is good. That's good to know.
Alright. So I asked Title, are we good to move through?
Yeah, you just don't get in the curtains.
Enchanted on first.
There must be something there. So I tell the other party members that we're okay to move forward.
Okay.
Okay. So you move through the room without
I'll
have-
just bow to the salamander.
Mm-hmm.
I'm continue going.
Pretty sure
as
asking
you,
for his name, but oh well.
as you reach the other door, Just making sure it's the right number. This side of the door is covered in frost. Which will make listening to it very hard.
Yeah, you can do that listening to cold thing again, Pray Dear. Show us how it's done. I want to learn it.
How do you
Okay.
cold?
As Pettidy's going across, yes, he will also acknowledge and pay, bow to the salamander as a representative of the honoured elemental ancestors. And then approach the door and then turn towards Tidal and say, so did the salamander explain what was on the other side?
No, I just asked if it was safe to pass.
And it said yes.
Okay.
He said yes, and now here we are. And don't touch the
And
curtains.
could we... He may well know what's on the other side.
Okay. I can
Same
ask him if you
surprises.
like. He's currently very embarrassed, though. Hence the flatulence.
Maybe he needs a change in diet.
Wow.
But
You want no more
not something we can
snowballs?
necessarily fix right now.
If you want, I can
In
ask
which
him.
case then, Pettidy will aim to carefully open the door.
Okay. As you carefully open the door, the first thing you notice here is intense green.
Intense scream.
Green.
Oh, green.
You can
Okay.
scream.
Blue, white, and green
You can
so
scream
far.
if you like right behind him. I'm sure that will not unnerve him in any way
No,
whatsoever.
I was hoping it coming from the frost lizard or something.
So
Oh my
the
God.
walls and ceiling of the room are painted with a deep forest green, and moss-coloured carpets cover the floor. The room is wholly devoid of furniture and decoration. Standing in the centre of the room is a man who towers a full 12 feet tall, and is clad in chartreuse leather armour. The giant's figure skin is sage green, exuding a cologne that smells of sandalwood, roses, and musk. His long hair and shaggy beard are a deep olive, and his eyes are a bright emerald. In his hand, he clutches a massive great sword, while wearing a smaller sword belted at his waist. A multi-hued stained glass window further east has the room in cast the room into verdant shades, so green shades.
I never heard of a forest giant.
So, do we see this forest giant through the
Well,
doorway?
that's the only thing we can see, really.
Okay, cool.
He's
Can I
standing in the middle of
ask-
the room, almost filling the room himself by looks of it.
Can I ask his great frostiness if he knows who the giant is?
Let me see.
Oh, that's gonna be.
He looks at you and goes, no. Don't speak to giants.
Oh, that's that. Okay, thank you.
Victor time. I'll just look and say greetings in. I'll say salutations
Okay, so
in Elvish.
he looks at you and says, you may only pass if you strike my head from my shoulders.
Oh God.
And he offers you his great sword.
Can we come in and talk about this? 'Cause it's a bit cold in this room.
Is
We
he
did
that in
read
common?
this. We did read the stories that are behind a lot of the things in this castle.
Did you?
The Green Giant was one of them, I'm presuming. Right. So we know the story of this.
He's invulnerable to any weapon but his own.
Yes. And he also expects, after it's done, to take your head off as part of the deal.
Oh no, if you fail to take his head, he takes yours.
Yeah.
So
Did
his
you say
weapon
that
is giant
he holds
Ganchik too.
out his sword, or
He does have another sword at his waist.
Which is smaller?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
one
smaller.
hand.
But
So
his
his
own
is
sword
like a
is
four-hander.
huge. So how we could?
Yeah, because he's
It
12 feet tall.
is a medium weapon still. It's a great sword for a medium-sized person. At
Right.
12 feet
Two-handed
tall,
sword.
he's still medium.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
He doesn't have to be. He does go out on the outer bounds of what is the medium square, but he's
He only
still
looked
medium.
like he threw it up the whole room when you first opened the door. Then you realise, actually, it's just a tall man.
So it's ridiculously huge two-hander, but it's not a large-sized two-hander.
It's not a large size two-hand.
It's just 7-foot spy-hander.
okay.
Well, we need someone who's strong.
I was gonna say,
And
I
he's-
walk.
And he's good at two-handed.
I walk
You're a
forward.
fighter. Yeah.
I walk forward.
Mhm. He bows and holds out the sword.
I take the sword from him and I bow back.
Okay. At which point, roll initiative.
All right.
Penalty is moving into the room to at least get out of the cold of the previous one.
That's fair enough.
I rolled 22.
Nice.
You're doing well for initiative.
Is everyone rolling initiative?
Oh my god.
You can, but
Well-
you've just been told by the others that you won't actually be able to harm the creature unless you're holding the weapon.
Only that
Well,
sword
it
can
appears
do-
to have been, like, particularly from Paladin perspective,
I was gonna
it
say-
appears to be set up as a one-on-one contest.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, the only reason for initiative is anyone attempting to heal her.
Okay,
It's
so
a two-handed sword.
it is a great sword. I can actually bring up the details
gonna
on the
say,
great sword.
So, Myron's walked through the
Because I would be.
both the rooms now, because I'm still standing in the room.
I don't have
That's
glass
fair
or anything.
Right.
Any of you has glass to help out?
So, I do.
Can you blast her?
I am not in that room.
Sorry?
I can just.
Well, the thing is, she's actually going before any of you get a chance to do something because she
Yeah.
picked up the blade before anyone said they were doing something.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
she gets around
She stepped
before
forward and
anyone does
volunteered.
everything.
Before any other officer.
So, I'm still.
No one can act on the round she's doing stuff.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, I'm not
So
in that room.
the great sword will do 2d8 slashing damage.
Okay.
But natural 20 will actually stun him.
Just stuns, it won't kill you.
But he gets a con save to avoid being stunned.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I go first.
Managed to beat him.
10.
10. Okay, so he
Leave
just
it near him.
he just doesn't move as the sword just goes right past him.
I'm getting used to the
You do
getting
have
used to the weight and
you
just
do
like,
have 2
ah.
attacks, so you still
You got a
get
second
bonus
attack, I
attack.
think.
So I try again.
Get him on the backswing.
8.
8. Okay, and
Nice.
and basically the sword comes so close to taking out the person behind you, it's not funny. It's just inches away from their nose.
A dodge.
And at which point he draws and swings with his longsword that he has.
Okay.
Okay, so he hits armor class 22.
Yep, okay.
Yeesh.
I'm gonna die.
That's okay. Dying isn't the end, as people will tell you.
No, someone's gonna bring you back.
So you take 10 slashing damage from
As
him.
with nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. Extreme.
He has only one swing.
Yep.
And now, at which point, if people want to do anything in the combat, they can do an initiative now. Because
I
I've
got
just
an
realised
18
combat has
initiative.
happened.
I got a
Okay.
22.
So we have 18. Title go to 22.
How much is your dex?
He's Dex 10.
Dex is 10.
Mirren.
Right.
Mirren, how much did you get? 10?
18.
18?
Oh, plus 3. Yeah. 18, yep.
I got 10. And that's with a plus 4.
Anyone else wanting to roll into it?
Eddie, have you got mine?
Tentative merely moving into the room and moving off to the side into one of the corners to look out the window, or at least see out the window. but-
Okay, so I'll leave you out of combat for this stage,
Yep.
Jeremy. Okay, so that means I will put Lani up first again
Yeah, okay.
because you're already in combat,
Yep.
and I'll have total act after you.
Okay, cool. Finally, 22.
22.
Um,
Okay, as you swing, you see the head just go clean off the shoulders, and both the sword and he disappear.
okay. Alright, that works. I'm cool with this.
So he can become invisible.
No, he doesn't seem to have become invisible. He just faded and went. There was
Apparently
there
she
was
took the head off.
invisibility. You can tell that for sure.
So he can
Tentative will
leave us.
provide an applause saying, impressive blow.
Or just fades out and comes back later when his head's regrown.
Okay.
Well, that's. Well,
But there is a nice little wood scent left as he dissipates.
Gotcha. It's
Puff of
the sword that I was using
cigarette.
disappeared as well. Okay.
So you said there was nothing else in this room but the man himself, was there?
And the door on the other side that he was blocking.
Pettidier will move forward and
Good job.
have a listen at the next door.
Okay, listening to the green door, give me a roll.
Is it cold?
This time I got 12 with my plus 10.
Okay, so obviously you did that so much better than the last time, and don't
Well, I'm not
worry.
hearing cold this time.
It was so informative you didn't really hear anything in that room.
Yep. I will, let's say, sounds clear. I will,
Oh, that's why I asked
that's right. I will look to see if people are ready and be ready to open the door.
Okay,
Yep.
everyone's ready?
I'm holding my arm, but I'm
Yep.
ready to go.
Okay. The door opens and you see an absence of light in the room as the door opens.
Oh gosh.
Actively dark.
What you can tell, the floor is black, the walls are black. If there are windows in this room, they're probably covered by black curtains.
Okay. Pick up small
It is
item.
the black room.
Pick up small item, cast item, throw it in the room.
It winks out and you can hear it bounce in there.
So it is actively dark. It's not just dark, it's made dark. Which means navigating in there is going to be a bit interesting.
And there's a pattern here between these rooms.
Yes,
The elements.
yes.
And you get a pungent reek of henbane.
So you had water, we've had
Asafoetida
this is
and
darkness,
hellebore
the first
root.
one was, arcane? No.
The air
Air. So
being
you
a
fill up
sense.
fire to go?
Yeah, I'm losing 5.
So the floor is lava.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
So Myron heard. Myron heard all that, and he just walks into the room.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then cast Divine Sense
Mm-hmm.
and glow again.
Okay, and for the first time since you've cast Divine Sense, you don't glow.
Or
Not at all.
Because the room is suppressing it.
is mine.
Is
the
magical
flail glowing?
darkness.
The flail's not even glowing.
Ah.
There's no light coming anywhere off anything in this room.
Does my
Does-
dark
Can I use the
Does
spell
your dark
magic?
vision work?
You could try using Dispel Magic.
with my dark vision? Do I see anything in the process?
In the room, looking around, you can see that before you stepped into the room, you couldn't see anything. But once you stepped into the room, with your dark vision, you can see a pair of really nice-looking black leather chairs, some divans. You can see that the window is not actually covered in curtains. It's actually got some nice black curtains beside it, but they're made out of black glass. And you can see out through that black glass with your dark vision.
Wait, curtains are made of glass?
So with the
The windows are made of black glass.
Oh.
so my divine sense isn't glowing at all,
The
Not at
curtains
all.
are open.
but it is
More
active.
dangerous
It is active.
or-
Yeah.
So
And
nothing.
you don't sense any undead around.
And we're still not hearing anything?
When he
Well,
steps
there's
into the
nothing up in
room,
the party?
you don't hear any noise from him when he steps into the room.
Oh, so we don't.
You sort of see he sort of just starts to fade the further he walks into the room.
That's great.
Well,
Can I
Pettidier
look back out the
will...
door.
Yep, you look at perfectly.
So I see them looking in.
Pettidier will step in
Mhm.
with keeping his left hand on the side of the door and then staying against the wall as he carefully moves around the wall. He's sword out, waving slightly in front so that if he doesn't jam his shins on chairs or things like that.
And you watch the prey deer walk into the room with his sword, waving it around like a blind man in front of you. As he walks past you, as you can see him clearly.
Alright, I'll turn back and cast.
But like I say, I'm keeping one hand against the wall, so I'm staying to a wall.
That's what I mean. He sees you walk in and walk around him because you're following the wall.
Okay.
So who's at the door now, looking in?
At the door, looking in.
We'll do the rest of us.
The rest of them.
And obviously,
So when you
yes,
go in, you can see. Okay.
listening
Does it
carefully
keep
and
rolling
feeling
for
my
me, or
way
can I look
round.
at the door before I go in?
You cast Detect Magic again.
No, it takes 10 minutes.
It takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You have spent more time dealing with things in rounds.
Okay,
Because it does take more rounds to have communication than it
Yeah.
does to fight.
that's fine.
And you can't cast 2 concentration spells at once. So It would be close to, if not up by now, and the rooms aren't giving off any magic.
No, I can't see no magic in here except him.
There's like a barrier of some sort, because I was thinking about trying to dispel magic, but I think it's some sort of barrier maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced
I'm-
that I can use it.
Yeah. I actually think it's darkness is generated by something in the room itself.
So
part of the
I
room
will
itself.
give Title a Arcana roll on
Ceiling
this
light.
one.
Oh, okay, I was gonna ask if I could try make an insight roll because
Or an
of
insight roll.
the
Make an insight roll.
shadow monks I'd seen before in Galantry who approached us during the book scene.
Just before he says all that, I want to have cast, because I've stepped into the room, yes? I'm going to
Yeah.
cast message at Title and let him know that it's magical darkness. And did I hear my own footsteps?
No.
Magical
There's no magic
darkness
items.
and magical silence.
Okay, so it's
So the
most
area-
likely.
That will give you
I'll
advantage on your insight roll.
whisper it.
Yeah.
It's most likely connected to the. Okay, that's. Okay, that was pretty good actually. So that's 19.
19. Okay, so looking at
That's
it,
more, that's 23.
so looking at these rooms as you've been going through them, each one seems to be a manifestation of one of the spheres.
Yep, thought so.
Yeah.
Yep. I will say that aloud to everyone.
Yeah.
And basically, that element seems to be in heightened in each of the rooms.
Could we
Yeah.
hear him?
You can hear him, yes.
Yep.
But he can't hear us. Well, we can't hear ourselves. I haven't spoken out loud yet. Alright.
Everything seems so quiet in here.
I'll just let them know that
Yeah.
whatever's in this room may have the ability to just be melded into the darkness and be one with the darkness, if this is what I think it is. Because there are monks who are, like myself, who are able to do that.
Yes.
I will step forward using the same wall technique, carefully walking
Okay.
in.
Yeah, you managed to walk along. So Jeremy, you managed to come up to another door.
And it would have seemed to be in the same sort of layout as the previous rooms. It's like the opposite side. Like I've gone down one wall, turned again, and came across another door.
It is basically an identical door.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
I will note that. I will.
And the door
Call out,
and the door feels warm to the touch.
Okay. I will call out quietly that yes, there is another door on this side. But then I'm going to actually keep moving around continuing around the edge just to confirm that there's no other exits from the room. I mean, presumably that's heading out. I don't know whether that's the window side or not, but
Okay, you start heading towards the window.
He said he
Okay.
called out, do we hear him?
Okay.
So, but I can see Pradir making his way. I'm in the middle of the room, or close to the middle of the room. Did I see him go to the door?
Yep.
So he's worked his way along the wall and across the face, and then he's at the door.
Yep.
But I didn't hear him say it was warm. Alright, I'll go over and join him and touch the door.
Okay. He's moved away from the door and he's exploring the rest of the room, and the door's warm.
Okay.
You can feel the warmth in the door.
Is it something that I'd be familiar with, a warmth like that? Is
It's
it generated from a fire or?
hard to tell. It's like the other door was just cold. This one just seems to be warm.
Okay. I'll turn
It's,
back and message.
it's not hot, but
I'll turn back and message whoever I can see in the door. Who's in the door that's coming?
Still us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are
Well,
the door.
Well,
I'm-
we get. We
I'm at the
made a
door.
hole to let you through. But yeah.
So I'll message Lani and say I'm over, and give her directions to the door that I'm at.
Yep.
But it's what you hear is a very, very, very quiet voice in your ear to let you know that, and just say
not
I've-
creepy
I've-
at all.
Yeah, don't but like I've been with him, so
Yeah.
I know it's him.
the steps, like, walk forward
Well,
4
it'd be
steps
creepy
or
if
whatever.
anybody else did.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just like I expect it from him and Trazzle. That's it.
And I'll just wait at the door and keep an eye out in the room. So I can actually see in the room, yes.
You didn't open the door.
No, but like
You can see-
I can see back into
Yeah,
the room.
you can see back in the
I'll just watch and just keep an eye out for anything.
Okay, so so you've reached the other door. What does Lani want to do at the other door?
No, assuming it is a fire room.
But is that still warm?
And is it presumably unlocked still?
Doesn't seem to be locked.
Alright. I will crack it open and see if I can see.
Okay, you can't see into the room, but you can feel warmth on your face.
Okay.
You can't see?
Can't I haven't opened the door all the way. So it might just be because I'm still in the dark room. But
Does any
it also
light
could be
appear
in the
to
next room.
escape
No light
into
seems
the
to
dark room?
escape into it.
Okay. I wait until I can reach out and feel somebody next to me.
I'm standing there.
Yep, you stick your hand out, he moves, so you reach him.
And I grab him. I hold
Someone's
him.
there, kill it!
Like a shield?
Like
a
I need
mute-
somebody who can see. if the next room is dark like this room, and so I don't want to go alone, but I want to have somebody come with me. So,
Okay, I'll just whisper I should go first.
so
I'll go first.
I open the door.
I'll look in.
Okay, looking in, because the door opened towards you. You first thing you is an intense feeling of heat coming onto you.
Right.
And you see a sight unlike any you've seen in a long time. Give me a religion roll.
Oh.
For those people around us.
Plus 10.
Bit of 10?
Kennedy is continuing to walk carefully down the other side. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, all good. So you see one of the avatars of the Sphere of Fire, what they call the Sun Brothers, the Soldiers of the Sun, standing in the room. They are basically elemental fire, but servants who have think like Valkyrie sort of thing, but dressed, they radiate fire, they radiate light. The entire room is full of light that doesn't make it into the room you're in.
Am I familiar with them? Oh, I suppose not with that role.
They, with that, you do know that they're dedicated to the destruction of the Ifriti. And
The dedication to the destruction of the Ifriti?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
No, what they are. Yeah.
And freaky is.
it is
Another
a
fire creature.
evil fire elemental creature.
But it almost... You know when you think about genies?
Same thing.
Evil genie.
Yeah. There's fire on the...
There is no fire in the room. He is the source of the heat.
He or two of them or one?
Just he, just one.
I like that.
I'll step into
And
the room.
and basically they are worshipped by all races who worship the sun.
So I'd be aware of them. So I'll step in.
I follow behind.
Okay, you go from intense darkness to intense bright.
Okay. So-
It's just at one moment it's like it's all dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does my
Light,
divine
light.
does my divine sense flare up now? Now I'm out of the magical to magical darkness.
You
'Cause I never
do.
dropped it again.
You do sense him as a celestial,
And I am glowing.
and you are glowing. Well, he's technically an elemental, but he's also a celestial. in
Yes.
those lines.
Whereas you're doing impressions of mortal, approximately mortal. equivalent
So
of the same thing.
you're like someone lighting a candle, and he's basically a bonfire.
Does he react when I do that?
He looks at you and offers you a chair near him. Would you like to sit?
Yes.
So, looking in the room, so this room has blood red coloured carpets, and the floor lying beneath the gold colour, and the ceiling itself is gold coloured, with matching walls. The air here is foul with the stench of brimstone, mixed with the spice of benzoin and the tang of Europhobium. I can't pronounce half these words. Against one wall rests a red lacquered table with a pair of matching chairs. Opposite the table, a red stained glass window reflects the light from a red hot metal chest that sits beneath it. The heat and glow from the chest give the room a hellish appearance. Standing in the centre of the room, his arms akimbo, is a heavily muscled man clad in burnished reddish gold armour. He stands 7 feet tall, with skin deep scarlet and hair an unnaturally brilliant yellow. His right hand rests on the pommel of a scimitar, while his other clutches at his shield that shines like the sun.
So as I walk over there, I'm just going to ask if he minds if I cast a spell.
It just depends on the spell.
I'm going to... Wait, he says that?
Yeah.
Depends on the spell? Something that will help me.
Which spell, he says?
Bless.
He lets you cast a spell?
So I am down another spell level.
Okay.
And I need to see what that is, and I probably picked the wrong spell. So I sit.
Okay.
Think about what I'm wearing. I don't look like a spell cast.
And he offers the badly blinking, mostly blinded person. Would you like a seat as well? I'm sorry, I cannot.
Did he say? Sorry.
He said as well.
I joined.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, if I'm going to cast it, I'll cast it on...
I think you can
That's
cast
just
it
an
on
air
more.
effect, isn't it?
I think you can cast it on more people if you cast
3.
it at higher levels.
No, well, at the moment, level 1 is 3. At
So-
higher levels, at a spell slot 2nd or higher, I can cast additional creatures. So minimum is 3.
Well, there's 2 of you there.
Yeah, well, I'll cast, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when the doors open,
Yep. You can feel
is
the
there any
heat.
evidence of a red light,
You
a
can feel.
rectangle?
You can feel the heat, but you can't
bless.
because it's more intense than when the door was shut. But you can't see it.
Okay.
Wait, did the door close behind us?
You left it open.
But they can't see because
The dark just absorbs the light.
I am concentrating for up to a minute as well. So,
So, which do you step into the intense heat outline, Jeremy?
No. Okay. I was still. I having not actually come across anyone in the room as I walked around. I'm doing a full circuit with the. I'll end up back at the first door again.
Okay, you step out and you see that there's the well title and trying to get all the names, and that leaves. Yeah, can't remember your character's name.
It's
but
too
it's
busy.
one- Yeah. So
The
near
I will.
was
Yes,
there.
I'll explain the fact that yes, can't see or hear anything in there, but it does not appear to be heavily furnished. Did I run across anything when I was going around other than the door?
Not around the outside except for the
Oh.
curtains.
That's right. And the but there is a door on the other side. It felt quite warm.
Yep. And the
To the
room
touch.
got a bit hotter part way through. You walking around the room, and that's about
Yep.
it.
And next day, seemingly, yes, it continued to warm this room as well. So, but if you stick to the side of the walls, it's all safe.
Okay, so
It's all right.
That's the time
Benedict
to work out
will
to go.
will actually encourage and naturally go away, like do the wall away from the curtains, because he knows title. It might be fun to go by the curtains, but he knows that won't help things.
I've had a few curtain experiences.
sounds like it.
Okay,
Why
so
would you end up burning down the building we were supposed to save?
they were investigating a building for one of the local laws, and they burnt it down.
That's perfect. Love it.
He wanted his building back.
Because the curtain moved,
Shell.
or at least so he thought.
Well, that was the one where he screwed up and tied himself up in the curtain and then screamed.
Who?
And yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? The one time that happened?
No, that's true. He's actually wrapped himself up in curtains more than once.
And then was the one time he
Exactly.
killed another person by dropping a bed and the curtains on them and tangling them up in it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So curtains do feature with title a lot.
It's funny.
That one was in this castle.
Benedict will ask,
Half over it.
what happened to the other two? If they
Killed by him tipping a bed on.
So, Llewellyn standing in the with
Yeah.
the two of you, so he just so he heard Praetor saying about what happened to the
Yeah.
other two.
Okay, we'll go through it.
Okay, so you all head through, and then you find yourself going from darkness into intense light, and
Cool.
seeing this heroic-looking person with a really wicked-looking scimitar.
and
Compliment him on his scimitar.
our two companions seated.
Yep.
Yes.
apparently willingly.
And he does seem to be holding it quite well. He is 7 feet tall.
But our companions are apparently willingly seated. They're not being forcibly held or anything like that.
They're not tied down.
Not tied down.
Yet.
No curtains involved.
Now, in a clear voice, in a loud, clear voice, I'm going to ask what is required of us to pass.
I am not permitted to allow any to pass through the opposite door, he says.
So there is another door?
There is another door in the room.
Okay.
Is there a condition that would allow you to let us pass?
Yes, having been freed of this task by Claude Amber.
What's on the other side?
No idea about it.
He does not know, he does not care. He's just to stop people from crossing from one door to the other.
You were thinking of a clawed critter, weren't you?
Yes.
C-L-A-U-D-E. Right. Which one's Claude? Have we met him?
Let's see if I think
Claude. Was he actually the one in the library that buried his sister?
No, you have not met him yet.
Right.
Did you go and find a Claude? Bring him back
Any old Claude or a particular one?
here. What's your name? Claude, you'll do.
Are you a divine?
How big are these
Claude?
rooms
Your
being
name's Claude
compared
now.
to the size of the throne room, Martin?
Each of these rooms have been around 40 feet wide and 70 feet across. So,
Pretty big.
not small rooms.
But then how does that compare to the throne room?
The throne room itself
That was 100 feet square, wasn't
was...
It was 40 feet high and 100 something.
So it was
feet
about
square.
180 feet long by probably about another 100 feet wide.
So we've gone significantly beyond the end of the throne room by these doors, by these rooms.
This door would have put you, the last room would have put you past the throne room.
Yeah, okay.
And you do look around here, I'm sorry, there is only one door, the door that you're in.
They're not allowed to let us pass. Let anyone pass.
So he is standing in the corner of the room.
For one particular member of the Danville
Well, Kennedy will ask the question.
to allow us pass.
You're not allowed to let anyone pass. There doesn't seem to be anything behind you.
Bless his fate is the one answer.
Okay, he gestures to the walls and saying, if you were a little more perceptive, you might have noticed the secret doors, he says.
Well, didn't want to get too close. You said you didn't want visitors.
No, I'm not permitted to let anyone to leave other than by the door they entered.
But if there are secret doors, this room might be bypassable.
If there are more of them.
Yes.
Do you know where this Claude is?
He does not know. He still owes him a great service. And this is the service that has been asked of him.
So, do we back off and try and find secret doors?
Well, there's obviously secret doors there. But the point is he's blocking the secret doors.
Well, the one in this room.
Yeah. Because he said it here.
There are stories of these guys taking on pit fiends.
Can I walk back to
But we've also got
Yeah.
if we go back the other way,
Okay.
we can always go back through the main doors of the throne room.
Yes.
Can I walk back to our friend Frosty and ask him if he knows who Claude de Amberville is?
And if there are any secret doors and where they are.
Or
And if he
if,
says behind the curtains, you're going to scream.
or if Claude's his master?
He says, who's Claude?
Oh, well, then I'll that goes. Don't worry, thank you.
Okay.
So are we
And
heading
the other
back
thing
to the
says,
throne
have we
room?
met before?
Or are we going to try and take out
A
this?
couple of times.
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did I like you last time?
I believe so.
That's good, because I like you this time too, so 2 for 2, that's going well.
Excellent. What's the target?
He blinks for a bit and then looks at you. What am I talking about again?
How awesome we are.
I think you're pretty awesome.
Yeah, you too. I'm gonna go see my friends now.
You have friends?
Surprisingly, yes.
Well, but are we trying to go through, bypass this gentleman, or are we going to go back through the throne room? I see no reason to push this fine fellow unnecessarily. If there are other ways we can attempt to travel at this stage.
He's not another of the story things, is he? The tales.
5. I don't think so.
No, he's not in one of the tales, but historically they are the protectors of the sphere of fire.
Yes. And if those doors are that well protected, there's something seriously worth getting to on the other side. If we can find any
something
way
bad.
around these, well, possibly yes. If we can find a way around these riots.
How far is it from one door, the door we walked into, and the door that he does not let him pass?
About 70 feet.
How far is Mage Hand?
60 from memory?
60
But it could be
120.
40.
30.
Do you really wish to tempt fate with...
Yeah, okay.
I'm just thinking.
No, just
I
ask
have
it.
a question. Let me just quickly check something.
Because you do know that these aren't the sort of guys who back down.
No.
Once they enter combat, they generally fight to the death.
And yeah, as noted, they've taken on pit fiends.
And there was...
So Martin,
Yeah,
26 on knowledge religion.
yeah.
Benedict is aware of this being a celestial, generally good defender of the elemental realm.
He's more known as a defender of law. He keeps to the word of what he's agreed. And they basically only serve people who have done have served their sphere in a major way. So something great they have to have done for it.
But obviously, yeah, okay, so not necessarily good, but not evil either.
No, it would have to be some sort of good or paladin-esque sort of task.
Do
No,
I?
but I mean, like, yeah, but so yeah, this being is normally good rather than evil, but definitely lawful.
Definitely lawful.
Okay.
Does Myron?
Yeah, Benedict will be saying that
I
if he's been tasked to avoid, not allow people to go past without the word of Claude Amber, perhaps we should go and try and ask Claude.
who's Claude?
We'll just have to identify where he is.
Well, but I say possibly beyond the throne room.
I want
See
to
what
go
you-
through the black room,
Yep.
just with our hands
Just the one
across
back,
the
yeah.
wall,
Mm-hmm.
and then I see the open door.
What was that?
I want to go from the cold room to the black room because I haven't passed.
Check the walls.
Just to the wall,
Do you feel anything on the wall?
and then when I go to the next room,
Mm-hmm.
I see them sitting with.
To the green room, you're in the green room, and then you go to the blue room, or the white room, and then the blue room.
Yeah, I already passed the green room. I mean, I was in front of the
So-
black room,
yeah.
so
So running your hands along the wall, you don't really feel anything out of place.
yeah. So I want to see this warm room.
So you go back into the wall. I thought everyone went into the warm room.
Oh, okay. So we're
Yeah.
all there.
Yeah.
No, it was
you-
me.
Because
Okay.
you were
Yeah,
there
you
first,
backed
and
up one
then
room.
then
I
they
was
dragged
right in there.
Yeah,
then
'cause
they
I
dragged
stayed
everyone.
behind.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought I
just.
just walked into the entrance.
I thought everyone went into the fire room.
That's okay. How far am I from the creature? From this,
You'd be about 60 feet from them.
and you're sitting. You're getting up from sitting.
I am not. I was actually going to try and persuade him. Because I don't know, out of character, is the sphere something that I would have worshipped.
It is one of the 5 elements that make up the world,
So
and all the
it is
gods
something that
belong.
I would have worshipped.
The gods of fire all belong to the fire sphere,
Yeah.
and fire. The creatures, all the people who have the fire element, are connected to the fire sphere. So he's basically a champion of your heritage.
Out of character, that ruin that I was looking after, I never determined what that.
That's okay. You'll find out.
Okay, so
Your character doesn't really know what it's about either.
No, that's fine, because I was going to try and persuade him with, I've done a great service.
But you have done a great service to him.
Okay, yeah, well.
That's where you think.
But
he's
I
the
won't.
king.
Oh, okay, well then I won't do anything. Then I'm still sitting down.
I'm gonna approach, maybe 30 feet from him,
He seems polite and nice.
and I'll bow. And I'm gonna cast suggestion.
Okay. So we're entering into combat then.
We don't know. I don't know if he's gonna notice.
Well, it could be going to combat rounds. He succumbs and says, "Okay, you're fine."
I'm trying to avoid a combat.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
we could have just gone around.
But he is the servant
Yeah,
of
but
a
if we
god.
touch the door, he's going to kill us.
No, I mean around back
But
through the
not
throne
avoid
room.
it.
Well, that's what we were sort of planning
He
on.
is the servant. He could. The elven gods use them as well. He's a servant of a fire god, and the elves have fire gods.
And as I say, generally
so I
a good
recognize that. I'm
creature.
not gonna try to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'd be a very.
Yeah, that doesn't
Yes.
fit my character. Beliefs.
It's basically if we go up to an angel and say, "Screw you! You're not supposed to do it. You're not going to do what you said you're going to do."
And he
So
goes,
can I-
"Yeah, nah."
Can I come to him? Does he recognize
That
my
would be an Australian angel, wouldn't it?
garb or any?
He does not.
What did you say? He
Can I
doesn't.
do
He doesn't
religion?
recognize her garb or.
Can I do a
equipment.
religion check to see what elf gods were related to fire?
He does bear the symbology of the sun god, who is the ruler of the fire sphere.
He reacted to me, didn't he?
He did treat you politely and do stuff, but he did ask when you asked if you could cast a spell. He asked what spell you're going to cast. Let's see, full pantheons.
So yeah, so I cast bless, which obviously didn't. Oh, it's faded. It didn't do anything.
Wasn't his wording you couldn't let anyone pass
So,
through the door?
under the elven thing, you
So why can't
recognize
you
him
just
as a
open
servant
the
of
door
Father
for us so
Son,
we can have a look at it. I'm not going to pass
the
through it.
oldest
Just
of
wanna
all the
look.
gods.
Go for the persuade. Or ask
You're
me-
asking me to
or-
persuade people?
Or ask.
I can
or ask-
persuade the
He's
Jews.
not head
Well,
of the
ask me
elven
to persuade.
pantheon, but he's
Okay, you might
one
be
of the
fine. I don't
oldest
think
of the
they're like
gods.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Or we could go find Claude and ask him.
Yes. Probably safer.
And Father Son is not a kind god.
Okay. So I'll actually
So,
ask him.
so vengeance paladins all work for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually stop and
I'm not radiant,
No, Radiant ones also work for him, but he's basically the go fight and kill in my name sort of god.
Right.
I want
So
to ask
deserts
him,
and droughts.
when was the last time you
Yahweh.
seen or spoke to Claude?
Sort of thing. Although Yahweh's really
Please.
volcano god.
Yesterday.
Does he send you a
It's
message?
been a long time since yesterday.
Oh,
Yes. Time is broken.
I see.
I wonder if this being knows if he's in this weird castle list.
And he says, yes, I do.
I don't think he cares
Oh.
much.
Okay. Do you know
I-
where
I-
Cloud is in this castle list?
I do not. All I know is I was given the task for this room, and I only know this room.
Right.
Oh,
It does, but a promise is a promise.
And a promise should indeed be kept.
we do not want to make you
Especially,
know,
especially if
I would rather not.
tarnish your promise. or
I'd
your
rather not
word.
kill you,
I'm being broken.
he says.
And said, I'm only
Yeah, I
going to bind you
appreciate the
for one
kindness.
day.
And then
And
It's
It's
not
not a kindness, he says.
on the same day.
A kindness would be to kill
He
you all.
knows
What's
how
his
much
name?
time is.
He does not give his name because his name is
Ah,
power.
yeah, yeah.
All the Celestials are reluctant to give their name.
Alright.
Because if you know their full name, you can summon them.
In a clear voice, again, still. Do you still speak? Can you speak to Claude?
If he's here, yes.
There's a point. Start off
We
trying.
will go and find him.
That would be appreciated, he says.
Or is it just trying?
It
Can we
is
ask
a
for,
really
um,
cool trident.
Drazzle if he has met Claude.
Cool is good.
Drazzle believes he will meet Claude eventually.
No.
He's infuriating.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Alright.
Doesn't make it any better, but yes, you could use it.
He
Stand
gets
up
so
from the table.
May
infuriated he
you
becomes
tell us?
horrible.
May you describe us what Claude looked like last time you saw him?
He did. You asked Drazzle or the Sun Brother?
Son, brother.
Sun Brother describes a young, hopeful man with honor in his soul and a pure soul. So he describes it more in
His soul.
someone's actual existence than their physical appearance.
Okay.
Apparently, he doesn't actually see what people look like. That's not what he looks at.
But can he tell what color, like his physical shell has? Okay.
He doesn't see that.
What were the colours?
Do we remember any portraits of Claude?
Yes, you have seen a portrait of Claude. He is a young-looking man who looks out of place amongst all the others of his family.
Oh, it's that good.
Okay. The Pettidier will mention the fact that we have seen pictures of Claude around the castle. I'm sure we can recognise him when we find him.
Let's hope he's not dead.
If we find him.
That's true. Although I think at the moment, most of the members of the family are amongst the living. The problem is the one we're trying to rescue is presently dead. But in the future, according to the castle, he is actually alive. So we're
Well, that's because we saved him, or at
Yes,
least
we did.
a group of adventurers, according to the stories, saved him and the rest of the clan.
yes.
Okay, I'll stand up. I'll stand up from the table. So we'll try and find him.
He would appreciate that greatly, he says, and he nods in respect to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then gestures towards the open door.
Pettidier will again
I
lead out into the dark room. Again, keeping your hand to the side. He'll go by the curtain side, because that way he doesn't have to worry about title.
This
And
title
carefully go down the side
I'm leaving.
Okay.
behind the other door.
So, as you're following Prey, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Hey, that's a 16.
Okay, you find yourself wrapped up in curtains again.
Oh, gold. You can
What do you want to
explode
do?
What kind of curse is that?
It's in your face.
It's just
It's
paranoia.
over you.
Just in the black room.
Yeah, but you can't even
Yes,
see.
it's not curse, it's insanity.
And you hear a voice in your ear going,
Oh, yeah.
Nah, chop suey.
Yeah.
I'm shredding this guy to bits.
At which point you actually see another curtain drop through the ceiling and land on him.
You can't actually see it. So you can
So-
see it, you cannot.
A spectral curtain.
As Myron leaves the room, he just lets out a massive breath and just swears under his breath. And then as he's walking past, he just grabs Tidal and tries to pull him out of the curtains.
He's actually been attacked by a creature. I can actually
Excellent.
find the stats again.
Yep.
It's a genuine curtain,
It's. I wish it was.
or a
but it
living
is.
curtain.
It's a possessed curtain.
Mm.
As far as I'm concerned, it's an
Oh, actually, can I try and pull the curtain?
Well, once they find the right
Oh.
creature, you'll be able to actually interact with it. Problem was, it got away from them last time they attacked.
Oh yeah.
Ah, you killed it.
No, I killed one of them. I think.
There it is.
Yeah, but
It's
there
called
was
a
a
sheep
piece that
phantom.
Okay.
It literally is a creature.
I mean, the interesting, of course, is the fact that no one else can see or hear this happening.
Except for you. Stefan, it hits an armor class. Oh, actually, you have disadvantage because you can't see.
Is it? Or you? because
Okay,
you're
so it still hits
paladin,
an armor
because-
class of
because I'm
12.
in the room and I can't see
That's
it.
a no.
That's a no. So, on its first attack, it does it, but it gets 2 attacks.
Oh, it's 2.
So we
And
are
on
in
its
the
second
black room.
attack, it gets a 24.
Yeah, I'm afraid that hits.
Well, especially when you're wrapped up in a curtain.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it does 7 points of bludgeoning damage
Oof. Oh, thank you.
as it hits you, and envelops you.
How rude.
So you feel yourself. So you basically see him walk into the curtains, and then the curtains wrap all around him.
I'm in the black room. I cannot see this.
No,
Well,
you didn't even hear it.
So I've
If
seen.
I
I've
have
seen.
to
Alright.
feet away from you.
Well,
Okay, if
don't you
I was.
have starfish?
Yeah, the rest of you make it out of into the other room.
Well, but we're any following
Not all,
title.
not all else
Yes,
have
I
it.
do.
Oh, not all outside. Oh.
But I do have
But-
dark vision.
Yeah.
Was anyone actually following title along the wall with the
Well,
curtain?
technically,
So
you
they're going to run
still
into
can't
title
see
bound
this room.
up.
He has the benefit of his holy thing aura going at the time.
Gotcha.
His holy aura gave him his actual dark vision.
Gotcha.
Right.
If you've dropped your holy aura, then your dark vision's also gone.
No,
Yeah.
it's still up.
So Jeremy, back to you.
I was just saying, like obviously Penalty doesn't notice because he's in front, but is anyone walking behind title that's going to run into title and the curtains?
Me.
Yeah, one person who can actually see what's happening.
Well, but I assume he was probably walking down the middle of the room.
He did catch what happened to Tidal, and he's heard Tidal's
Yeah, that's
reputation.
right. But if the other 5 people were going to stay to a wall, did everyone go down the other wall?
I think they might have gone down the other wall.
Fair enough.
The quick way.
So I would have been. No, Lani would have been the last one out of the room.
Yeah, I would have been the last one out of the room, but I would
You
stick
got
to
up
the,
after me
I would
from the
stick up
table.
to the wall.
Yeah.
I would stick to the wall that I know.
So I've just walked back into the room. So if I walk into the room,
Yep. You see off to your left, Tidal being wrapped up by curtains.
so the curtains are there, and then like diagonally to the right is the
Is
other
where
door.
everyone else is going.
Yeah. Okay. So as I walked in, I saw the sheet drop on him. I've sworn.
Mm-hmm.
No one's heard it. Thank God.
Unless you accidentally message someone at the same time.
So I saw him get jumped. I saw a curtain fall on him. That's all I saw was a curtain fall on him, and I was in the process of just grabbing the curtain off him.
Okay, you're going to rush over and do that. So I'll give you initiative. For the two of you, while the rest of the elves are moving carefully past all this combat.
But I don't see. I don't see that it's actually attacking him. I just see that he's somehow wrapped up in a curtain.
Yes.
So 4 with a 1.
So you spend the first round perplexed.
It was like,
So one
I
means
went to
you,
try and grab
one,
it.
like,
one,
get
one
out
means
of
you
the
skip the first round just going, what?
Oh, okay. So if you roll a crit 1 on initiative,
And natural 20 means you go first.
yeah, well,
No matter what anyone else gets on initiative.
yeah.
And what did Tidal get?
21.
Please close the door.
Yeah, I'll do.
Thank you.
And it should be the sliding door as well. And we'll have the sheep make a roll.
Oh, shit.
It's enough for cold and hot.
Well, it
It's not
is
gonna get cold.
active.
Oh.
Okay, so the sheep just beats the paladin.
Oh wow.
So Tidal, you are currently enveloped by drapery.
I would like to unveil
Give me a escape roll.
acrobatics.
Doing acrobatics.
Hey.
That's me. Apple.
Uh, 15?
15. Okay. You spend your action sliding out from it.
Yes!
You find yourself in the middle of the room, not sure which way is which.
I'm gonna yell curtains are attacking. Yeah, and nothing comes out.
So
They're
I
attacking
saw
actually
that.
through this.
Yep. You see him trying to bellow and not making any noise whatsoever. It's quite amusing.
And I'd like to draw out my sword and turn face the curtains.
Okay.
And I think that's all I can do because I use my action to escape, I think.
You did use your action to escape, but you can move, but you don't know which way to move.
Away from the curtains.
Oh, these need to just die. You don't leave these things alive. They go and suffocate other people. Think of the children.
Which children are probably dead already?
Some
No.
children.
He's thinking of his multiple children.
Oh wow.
Okay,
Low
so
blow.
Well, we know he's got
Can
one.
I use my bonus to dodge?
What are you dodging though? You can't see it.
Oh.
What target are you picking? I pick myself. I'm dodging myself.
Fair enough.
So, it comes at you from the darkness again. It hits armor class 14.
To me,
Yeah.
that's a miss, just.
And then it attacks again. Hitting armor class 24.
Yeah, that's a hit, I'm afraid. What's the 24?
Well, it has advantage, so it really helps it. So it hits and does 9 bludgeoning damage.
And you're bleeding. Can you see him bleeding?
And envelops you again.
See him bleeding.
I see him wailing on it.
Can you see him bleeding? Because he's bleeding.
And you see he crawls out from the carpet further into the room, and then the carpet actually comes out and lands.
So now it's not just him
Yeah.
Can we see
fighting
the
an animal.
carpet?
I can see that it's moving.
Apparently,
Yeah, right.
the curtains really are out to get him.
Can we see the carpet moving? Is the question. Oh. Oh.
Yeah,
So
just
it-
go.
it-
The carpets are fine.
And give me you.
Or check.
So that's your first round, and then it's back to title. Your first round is just you're watching this happen, going, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
So title, you were
I'm-
trapped again.
Oh,
You got out of it, and it strapped you. Your
I'm
sword
not
stuck to
trying
your side.
Hang on a sec, just before. How
I
far
don't think I
away is
can
he
while
from
I'm
me?
grappled.
He wouldn't be too far away from you.
No, 'cause you wouldn't.
Probably within about
need something
20
to grapple
feet.
first.
Because I can't attack it while I'm grappled.
Oh no, it's as an action. Never mind.
Not easily.
No,
No.
it's as a bonus action.
But if you
That's
try to
not level.
cut these.
Well, the thing is I'm grappled, so I can't get my weapon.
Is it a light weapon?
It's a short sword.
No, I think you can attack with it.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Just remember you have
Disadvantage.
advantage on wisdom and death saving throws.
Yeah.
Wait,
Even
actually,
when-
hang on a sec.
Actually, a valid picture of it.
You shed bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for 20 feet beyond that. You and friendly creatures within the bright light. So
He's not in the light.
He's not in the light. Never mind.
You're
I thought it was
in
an
the
area.
light, but the light's only inside
Yeah.
you.
The light's in all of them.
So,
Okay.
give me. What are you gonna try to stab it? You
yeah.
have disadvantage because you're sort of wrapped up in it, but you can attack with it.
Alright, I'll
Don't
try.
worry, it won't be too bad. I'm sure you won't stab yourself too many times.
Oh, of course I rolled that. And then...
Oh,
okay.
natural 20! And.
The disadvantage was a 19, so...
Oh, wow.
That's,
Disadvantage was a 19. That's a pretty good roll.
That's pretty good for
Yeah, that's
disadvantage.
already-
No.
yeah.
So that's 24 to hit.
So you hit, roll damage,
Cool.
and don't worry, you're applying half to yourself.
Oh, of course I am. It's the bloody... Yeah. This is gonna hurt.
Any damage done to the creature applies half to the person that's grappled.
Because it's wrapped around him like
So that's 10 damage. Piercing.
So you take
doing- he's doing-
So,
5
oh,
damage
you're
and you
actually
take 5
fit. So
damage.
this is similar to a magic carpet.
Yes. Or a lurker.
Or a lurk.
Yeah.
So,
It's rude and nasty.
And he's only going after you.
Yeah.
What did you do?
He attacked it last time.
And then I'm going to use my bonus action to use Flurry of Blows.
Yep.
Ugh, that's a...
With disadvantage.
Oh, God, yeah. Okay, that's a 10. First one missed, I think.
Yes, the 10 actually missed. You didn't manage to stab yourself either.
Cool.
This time.
And the other... Oh my God, okay. Okay, so then it's a 6, so...
Not a 1 in there.
No.
So yes, you also still don't. It's too strong. You can't get your arm free to actually strike it.
Okay.
You're being enveloped by this curtain in the darkness. Your worst nightmare ever.
Oh, bugger. Okay. Should have used my extra attack action. Apparently 5th level I can attack twice.
Would you like to use your extra attack action with disadvantage?
Sure. So I've used my bonus and I've used my... oh, it's a 7.
So 7. Yes, this sheet is your bane of your life. The Will-O-Wisp is nothing compared to the sheet. Okay, so it now gets to attack you twice.
She's my arch nemesis now.
Okay.
It is no longer Will-O-Wisp.
Okay, it starts sucking the life force from you. You take 7 necrotic
That's
damage.
rude. Excuse me.
You're gonna be killed by a sheep.
Carson, not a vacuum cleaner.
And you find yourself dragged to something.
Is that
In the
what,
floor.
7 necrotic?
So what's he seeing?
He's basically
right there.
he's basically saying, stab, ah, punch, stab, and then being pulled across the floor.
Just the slow.
And then he disappears into the floor.
What?
Alright, so.
Oh, scheiße.
Okay, and you notice that he's been taken through a trapdoor.
Oh, so I do see.
You just see this as you go straight through the floor, and there's this hole there now.
And he's gone. I can't see it.
Yeah, he's gone. And now it's your go.
Now it's my go.
Do you go after him, or do you go after the others?
Let me just have a look.
Dive down the hole.
Let me just have a look, because I can't remember that. No, I don't know what it is, and it does.
Just to help with the picture. There's the creature there.
That looks awful.
Yeah, it is a lurker.
So for Jeremy's purposes again.
Uh-huh.
So
Lucky. I'm sure Clyde will be fine.
As long as we rescue him in time.
Okay. I've named my nemesis.
Okay.
You were cutting it down.
You also take 3 bludgeoning damage from
Just
hitting the
make
ground.
So can I see anyone else in the room?
No, everyone else has left the room at this stage.
I haven't.
Oh, you're going slowly.
You're
Yeah.
still working around?
Okay.
Yep.
So I can see.
Okay, I'll say you can see
I
most
thought
of
it was
them.
a bit weird.
You can see most of them in the
I
room.
can see Naira, is it Naira?
Yeah, but you said I couldn't because it's magical darkness.
It's a magical die.
It's Naira, isn't it?
Yeah, Nari, yeah.
Naira. So I'll turn as an action, cast message to Nari and say trouble.
Someone says, trouble! In a happy voice.
Being pulled. Trouble, middle of the room.
How big is your message? It's just trouble.
Yeah, 25 words.
Spell through solid.
But he tries to keep it simple.
And whisper a message. It's you know.
It doesn't have a word limit.
It doesn't have a word limit, but I'm not imagining it to be, you know,
It's
probably a couple of sentences.
It's a
Yeah.
cantrip.
Certainly,
Yeah.
certainly the earlier edition made it 25 words. So.
Do you want to make it that now?
You can add more if you want to, but I'm happy if you just want to do trouble.
Yeah. I'd say it's our message, which means you can only encompass one thing.
Yeah, I'll just say.
Can I see his light? His magical light?
I'm not glowing.
He
I
doesn't
asked
go in
about
this
that
room.
before, which is a shame. Otherwise, he would have had some saving
Yeah.
throws.
Think of it as a tweet as a maximum.
Yeah. So I'll just say
140 characters. Oh wait, no.
Title.
It's 280 now, isn't it?
Title was attacked. I'll whisper. Title was attacked.
Twitter account.
He's been dragged into the floor.
That's
That's a
right.
lot. Yeah, that's okay, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Drag
that.
into the floor, okay, that's a lot, Anthony. I'm gonna run into the next room to try to call the others.
Okay.
Oh, hang on, I wasn't done.
You were not done? No, stop running.
No. And then as a bonus action,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to cast. I just had it up. Is it Branding Smite on the weapon I have,
Yep.
which is a level 2. Which I'll rub that off now. So for 1 minute, one bonus action. I'm concentrating for up to a minute.
And then you're going to jump down the hole?
Yeah, and with the rest of my movement, I'll follow him.
Okay. Give me an athletics roll as you come into the room.
Let me do those spells first.
It's okay, because the moment you jump into the room, you'll notice something amiss.
Right.
Alright, so, and I'm concentrating. So, athletics roll, you say?
Mm-hmm.
12 plus.
Okay, well, that's enough. You managed to land without taking any damage. But you
17.
notice you're standing on a room full of lettered tiles.
Letter? Tile.
Letter tile.
Lettered tiles.
It's
With
Oh.
letters on them.
It's a puzzle.
Do I.
And you feel them sink as your weight comes down on them.
Oh.
Click, click. And you
Oh.
land on 2 letters.
So, how much movement? Oh, there's no
And then you
movement.
see a title rolling on a couple of letters with a click, click.
Is he still enveloped?
Yep.
Well, I can't do anything else.
So
How
you
far
keep
away is he
finding
from
you
me?
better set everything up.
He
It's
well,
fine.
that
Go
was
for the
basically the end of your
athlete,
action,
okay.
is landing in there and seeing that happen.
I've
Oh,
worked my
that's
way
that movement, don't I?
to
That
F
is your
so
movement
far.
to get in
I've
there.
got
It
this.
takes movement to get to the thing or to drop.
So, okay, so it was within 30 feet from where I was standing. Yeah, that's right, because the rooms are 70 feet. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so, title.
So I'm concentrating. I need a sticker or something.
You basically felt yourself fall into darkness and thunk, you're still enveloped.
Okay, can I try and free myself?
Yes, you can. You can make an escape roll again using acrobatics.
Oh, I forgot to fire. Nice. Nice. Okay, I'll take that.
Natural 20?
No, it was sliding across my phone and then roll into pen controlling. It's 9, 20, 22.
Okay, you slide out from it, and as you slide out, light comes back, and you notice there's a hole of darkness in the roof above you, about 10 feet up. And as you look around, this
Floor of tiles.
whitey sheet thing that you remember from earlier is looking at you evilly with its mouth and eyes. As you put your hand down, you hear a click and look down. You just push down another tile. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
I'm also.
You also have to make a Constitution saving throw.
I am glowing as well.
Oh, sorry, Charisma saving throw.
Is it charisma?
It is Charisma saving throw.
Charisma.
Uh-oh.
Do I also have to make a charisma save?
You do.
The good news with charisma, it's less likely to be instant death.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Shit.
That's a 10.
Ooh. 6.
You have a lot
6.
of bonus.
Okay,
No,
so
not for charisma.
What?
Not for a saving throw.
so you'll both be
Yeah,
adding
just
to
do,
your character
No,
sheet.
you're
You
adding 3.
Yeah.
What?
What am I
Please
adding?
don't use
That-
your
have an effect called lunacy. Every time there's a full moon, you go crazy.
No,
Well, he
so
goes crazy
do
and
you
comes to
have
curtain, so that won't
any
change.
proficiency charisma saving throws?
So I
Which means you may become violent
As a
upon
paladin?
others and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
Oh, sorry. No, you won't have the.
Yeah, you only have the
Proficiency
proficiency. Yeah, only if you're
Yeah.
proficient.
Yeah, but still get +3.
so I get plus. So
Because he gets his
so my saving throws. I've just gone off what you emailed to me, and it was only strength and constitution.
I
That
think
was
I put the wrong ones down.
With-
So
with saving throws, you still use your.
Your
I
attributes.
think
Your
you're
attribute
think you're actually
modifiers?
wisdom and
I can
charisma.
use them in.
Yes.
So you
Yeah,
should
still
be
use
you
that,
should be
but-
+6.
The ones
So,
that you.
so charisma for me is +6, so it's 12 for me.
And unfortunately, you also get to add lunacy to your character sheet.
So
Although that's curable.
Is it?
It's
I still hate curtains.
it is a form of
I
I was
insanity.
just gonna need a more.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, I'll let you explain that because
Which
I've done
means it's fixable using greater restoration,
Yes.
which I don't have access to yet.
So we need a cleric and a psychiatrist.
Don't worry, you've got Drazzle. He's good at hugs.
That's right, that's right. Lunacy is fixable,
Yes.
unlike paranoia for curtains.
Oh, that's still fixable too.
Just
we
with
just have to ask Drazzle to hug the paranoia away.
Oh wow.
Doesn't that usually include my spine breaking?
Sometimes.
That's
That's
curable
curable too.
Well, now you know why he looks so beaten up in the future.
too. He's been cured of so many things with hugs.
Lunacy's a it's not a disease. Is it?
I know it's a
It's an insanity.
it's an insanity.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, explicitly greater restoration.
So 21
Oh.
for.
Finding the hole.
I thought I rolled because I thought I had to do and
Initiative.
yes.
That might change.
What, lunacy?
Because instead of trying to find a hole, I heard this message, but I need to warn the others that
Yeah.
something's happening.
So I'll have you moving towards yellows for a couple of minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, lesser restoration has
So-
no effect on insanity.
Oh, don't
My
know.
abilities
doesn't.
here,
No.
Oh,
So
no.
ability to avoid diseases doesn't affect
The
mental.
other
but
conditions
I've got 2 abilities here: Aura of Protection and Aura of Resolve.
Mhm.
you often
Can
end
I
up
do
with
something? Because I could
lesser
actually do
restoration
something
with
to
others.
get more movement.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to cast
Blind,
another spell?
deaf, and paralyzed.
Yeah, because I could just do
Yeah.
Zephyr Strike,
Greater restoration.
and that would give me an
against the
extra
chunky
10
stuff.
feet whenever I want.
And I
Mhm.
don't have that. That's
So,
level 5 spell.
The room's like
You
100.
might have to
you said?
re-roll.
The
that.
room is 70 feet long. So
So-
Because
Okay.
apparently there's an Aura of
So
Protection
if
around
I-
the Aura of Resolve.
Oh, okay.
So if you're within 10 feet,
So if I use
Depends
all
how
my
big the room is,
actions
though, and how far away it was.
to
you
move
confirm
60
with
feet.
mine.
I was just trying to figure out what was happening with the character who was in there in case they weren't affected.
Okay.
Mm.
So 60 feet for hurrying, and then with the Zephyr Strike, my 10 feet, I can get out of the room to see
Mhm.
people. And then
And you
my
get,
free
so
action.
you basically bump into a lot of people because you had a few people going before you.
Okay, no problem.
So yes, you will move out with a few people as you go out.
And can I just use my free thing to say, title taken inside the floor? How about 5 words? enough to alert people there's a
This is
problem.
great. It's gonna be like Chinese whispers.
Okay, so
Let
you
me,
actually
like,
get an
title
extra
instant
plus
for
3 to
whatever
your
we know.
saving
What?
throw.
So,
So that made a total of plus 9. So you got a 15 to your saving throw.
so yeah, so
Aura of protection works on you.
whenever you or a friendly creature within 10 feet of you
Yeah.
must make a saving throw.
So it was just like, I don't know.
You or a friendly creature, so it's either me or him.
No, both get to do it.
So,
Oh, look, you got plus 3, I think.
But it also comes to you guys.
so I think
exactly.
you got a
I got a
bonus. So,
bonus.
Plus thing.
You got another plus 3 to the bonus of the roll. So that what did that make? That still didn't
That
get
only
you.
makes it a 13 though.
13 was enough.
mine takes to plus 9.
Oh,
It's only a moderate check.
okay.
So that means neither of you are lunatics.
Ah.
Just because of his aura of protection, you're lucky he fell next to you.
Oh.
And then beginning at 7th level, you and your allies within 10 feet of you have advantage on saving throws against spells and effects created by undead creatures, or by creatures native to the Shadow Realm, or with any level of shadow corruption.
I was looking forward to that.
This benefits last until someone fails a saving throw that was made advantage because of your aura of
In
resolve.
this place, a lot of failed saves actually benefit you,
I am.
but it's hard to tell until it actually
Which is
happens.
which, yeah, I don't trust this place.
So,
So
my
like,
6
like that blood curtain that you made the saving throw
turns
for,
into a
gave you
15.
bonuses if you failed.
So you get to 15.
Yeah,
If he
so-
succeeded, you succeeded.
So yeah, but I got a 12 originally.
Yes, but it got bumped up to 15, so they both succeeded.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is how looking at your character sheet does actually help.
So plus 6. So I have a plus 6 to charisma saving throws. With that next to me is plus 3. So
Yeah.
plus 9.
Yeah. Because of your type of paladin mood.
Nice.
And then
That's why you want to be next to the paladin. Yeah, I sat next to the paladin. Why? I want the bonus.
Exactly.
so we're not lunas.
You know,
Yeah,
you were
no,
very
no,
close.
We passed the.
Out of curiosity, with that, the Shadow Realm stuff,
Yep.
that's not a part of the Shadow Realm. That
No.
okay, never mind. Well,
The creature is not,
okay.
but the creature is an undead creature.
Well, it's
Yeah.
an under, so you should get more then on top of that.
Yeah.
But
Should
only,
have advantage
but
on it.
only for the undead creature. Not, and that spell effect was not from the undead creature. It was from pushing the tiles.
Oh, okay, righto.
You failed on your puzzle roll.
But then if he was within range with me and the creature that was attacking was undead, he should have had advantage on.
But there was no saving throw.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He was doing an escape roll, not a
Oh,
saving throw.
okay, sorry. No, sorry.
It's getting the rolls correct was the hard bit. Okay, so and then the rest of you make it out into the green room just to hear that titles are dropped with curtains again.
Oh.
Why did you go with the curtains? You should have gone the other way.
And while they're discussing that title,
It says the person who led me into curtains in the first place.
so you just escaped.
No,
from the
Penny
curtain.
deliberately went the curtains, knowing that you'd gone the other way, and you'd go back that way.
I'm trying to follow you.
Yeah, but that's not what he set up.
And you notice the curtain's looking at you,
Yeah, I'm gonna beat
Oh,
shit out of this
wow,
guy.
and it slides into the floor.
Oh,
What?
no.
The curtain slides into the floor, going, "I'll be back."
That's not fair.
That is
I don't-
definitely cheating.
I don't get attack of opportunity. Do I get attack of opportunity?
But if you do get an attack of opportunity,
He's gonna get.
because you're within range of it as it's moved out of your threat area. Because you only get an attack of opportunity when it leaves your threatened space,
Okay.
not when it moves through it.
I'm gonna.
And it's not withdrawing; it's taunting.
That's fine. I'm gonna teach it some manners.
Who's? Oh, okay. Did you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna water whip it.
No way we can actually attack the thing, is there?
Not close, no.
Hmm.
Because it's technically now 2 rooms of going through us.
That's right.
And you've got to
That's
find.
right.
You don't even know where the hole
Spend-
leads to find.
Spend 2 key to water whip it.
Mm-hmm.
Get
your whip in.
What is my...
Oops, that should be.
Do you? No. At the same time.
Do I roll for that? Did I spend key? I can't remember.
You spend key to use the spell, and I believe Water Whip is either a saving throw or attack roll.
Oh yeah, it has a dex saving throw.
Okay. So it gets 13.
13.
Yeah. What's your spell DC?
spell DC is, if I can find the page.
This is why I put those cheap things together.
Yes, I did.
There we go.
It should be proficiency plus your. For a monk, I think it's wisdom.
13.
Then he makes it.
Oh, you son of a. Okay. No rerolls?
His taunt got you. You want to use a reroll, do you?
Definitely.
Okay, we do have a couple of those left.
This is my arch nemesis. Really? Read. Wait, what did I roll? Isn't he roll?
Key roll.
Oh, he rolls. You want him to roll again?
Yes, please. Sorry.
Okay.
Don't worry, I rolled.
Okay, he fails.
Okay. So he gets pulled. Just check the book. Yeah.
So he gets pulled into you because he then envelops you again?
He takes 3d10 bludgeoning damage,
I hope not, because what's coming at him after that's going
and
to
then I
hurt.
can spend additional key to increase the damage. Wait, hang on a second. Is that before or after? Doesn't say.
Probably
For each additional that you spend.
Oh, you have to choose. You've spent 2 key.
Well, it says on a failed save, the creature takes plus an extra for each additional key point you spend.
So you. Okay, you can you spend more key if you wish to. You
I'm
want to spend all your
my
key?
key
Okay.
to extra thingy this. So that makes it 3d10 plus 3, so 6d10.
6d10, let's see if you can do it.
Alright, that's 5, that's 11, that's 18, that's 25, 30,
That's
40, that was 6? Yes, that was 6. 40 damage,
40 damage, yeah.
bludgeoning, and he's pulled 25 feet towards me.
Okay, you hit him and he just sort of shimmers and disappears.
Oh, you son of a gunky monk is a freaking not happy.
With a sigh of satisfaction.
Wait, it's happy or unhappy?
It seems to be happy.
Is it dead?
You don't know. You've never fought a sheep before.
You don't speak Curtin.
No, I don't speak Curtin. Yet.
Always know your enemy.
Whiffle, whip, whip, waffle?
Well, yeah, always know your enemy. Learn Kurt.
Yes, that is my next time.
With my divine sense still up,
Yep.
is it in
It doesn't seem to be here anymore.
So is this where you get a worker as a familiar?
Maybe.
But he can't tell the difference.
Did I kill it? I don't know. It's still there.
He just wanted to hit something so bad.
Did it
he just wanted to hit
disappear
something
like
so
the
bad.
Green Man did?
What was that?
Did it disappear like the Green Man did? Ah, okay.
But someone there do that as well, especially those that can move through walls. And sheets that can come through and attack you are his worst nightmare.
So my attack of
Not
opportunity.
reassuring.
Where it's like,
No.
My attack of opportunity is pointless now.
Sorry, this
Yeah.
was my nemesis. I was putting out all the stops on this.
I could have literally.
murdered it as well.
Yeah, that's right. I still got bring. Well, I mean, there's a minute past. Minute wouldn't have passed.
It hasn't passed yet.
So-
Okay, so for the two of you, while everyone else is still coming, a large square grid has been painted onto a stone floor in the middle of this subterranean room. The grid is 5 10-foot by 10-foot squares, long and wide, marking a total of 25 squares. A large capital letter in common alphabet has been painted in the middle of each square. There is a door on the other side of a 70-foot by 50-foot room, but reaching it requires stepping on several of the painted squares. And both of you are in the middle of the room.
Okay.
Are we still in initiative order?
Not at this stage because
The fighting's gone.
the fighting has gone. You can choose how you want to act.
The traps don't repeat if you're standing on them, do they?
You don't know.
Oh, great. Okay.
That's next experiment.
Okay,
you may
what
or may
num-
not want to do.
So I landed on letters, yeah.
Yep, you did land it on letters.
So did I.
What did I land on? What letters did I land on?
Just trying to get. Okay, so
How big's the letters first?
you landed on the letters A and R, and Stefan landed on the letters Z A R. So I will grab something to write down what you can
Curtain,
see
smells
with.
curtain.
It's a 5x5
Because they have specific letters
Squares.
as well.
Yeah.
in a 25-foot square room. Each square is 5 feet.
No, I think you'll
So
find
how did I land on 2 if it's 5 feet?
each square is 10 foot, I think, wasn't it?
Each one is 10 foot.
You said it was 50 by 70, the room.
And the room is
I
50
thought
by...
you said- oh, okay.
The room is 50
So I've
by
landed
70,
on-
but there is a centre of the room that is 50 foot by 50 foot.
So I'm on the edge of 2 tiles.
Mm-hmm.
What, A and R, you said?
Yep.
Can I move off A and go to R? Because the letter's big enough to support me standing there by itself,
Mhm.
yeah? Okay. So I don't want to be standing on 2 letters. So I'll take my foot off A. And we're out of initiative order.
Yeah.
Has there been enough time for all of us to get out of the dark room and then get the message passed along that Tidal managed to get wrapped up in curtains?
Yes. This has happened in that time. Basically, they haven't sent you any new messages since then. And you were choosing to go back into where they were, I believe.
Okay.
That's right. Well, Peter certainly will go, what the hell do you go that way for? But he'll stick to that side, the curtain side, and carefully move forward. So.
Alright, I'll cast a message.
To Brady, maybe?
No, back to Nairi because there's the last person I messaged.
Oh, yep.
And say, don't drop down the hole.
Yeah.
Don't drop down the hole. We're fine. Don't drop down the hole.
Can if we look down the hole, can we see the light as well?
No. You can't see any light until you leave the room. That's part of the trap. So that's basically the room.
And I'm standing. I landed on A and R.
Yep.
And you landed on Z, A, and E.
Z-A.
Presumably,
Z, he
presumably
landed on
rolled
Z
across
and then
them as he
rolled
fell.
Z and A and then rolled over onto the R above
If
him.
you go over there with...
Actually, better yet.
Take a photo.
Oh, take a photo and use your own.
Yeah.
No, I'll take it. Oh my god. Oh, that's terrible. There you go. You just hang on. So,
At which point...
did Naira get the message
Yeah.
to start with? Okay.
No, I think you have to see them, don't you?
No, it's within range.
Okay.
Oh, but it can only go through a foot.
There is an open, so it can go.
Yeah,
over.
it can go around as long as it's an open path.
Yeah, you've got light of effect because there's a hole.
Okay, so
So I'm on A and R, and I've just stood off A, and I'm just standing on the R.
So remember, with
I'm closer to
message,
the door.
with message, the target's allowed to reply.
What words can you make?
Not very good at
Let me
bombing.
just.
what was that, Jeremy? The message.
I'm saying message does allow a reply from the target.
It does.
So
Thank you.
Okay.
You have to have a message here.
You can go corners.
Can we use an insight check to think of
Although,
what you should do?
magical silence does block the spell.
It might be a
Here.
name.
I believe I'm here.
Here?
Yeah, because I was Z on A and then I rolled onto R.
Okay.
Right. So you're both standing on an R.
This spell's here.
There's also rare.
Where here?
Oh, there. It's head. Hog.
So does Penadier find the hole
He does
before he
find
falls
the.
in?
He does find the hole, and he can stick his head through it and see them below him.
How far below?
They are 10 feet below, in the middle of what appears to be a
The 50 by 70 room.
So it looks like
Okay. Does Penadier recognise any of those words anyway?
he does not. They don't seem to make any sense.
Because it's N and hog.
I'll see if I can send you a quick picture of it, Jeremy.
Here.
Okay.
So that way you can at least refer to it without having to try to show.
I can just copy it down. So
Does anybody want to top up on
This one?
Oh, I was just going to take a picture of the book.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, go here. They're
Yeah,
Go.
there's
they're
repeated
just
things.
yeah.
Okay,
Go here.
I-
Go here.
yes. Can I make a history check to work out if I've seen something like this before and work out what the puzzle is?
You can. Okay, that actually worked, so I will send that to Jeremy.
thank you. Well, I was going to say, I'll just put the camera on again. I can quickly jot it down. So
If I send it to you, it's a lot easier for you to find.
Yeah, that
Oh,
may or
good.
may
If
not be
you,
useful.
if you look,
16.
go here, go here.
Yeah, go here. Go here.
So what
What
have I
if
missed?
two people walk through? Go here. Go here.
I'm
Which
looking
session?
at the image at this or a description.
Okay, you
No,
should
no,
have
no,
it coming
it's
to your
just
phone
go here,
now.
go here. What if the two
Thank
people
you.
walk at the same time?
Are you talking to us through the hole?
Yeah.
You can't,
thank you very much. Yep.
We've got multiple people who can see this. So.
So if two people could go like.
And the hole
start
is
with
10
G
foot
and
wide, so
go-
they
go
can all
here,
stick
go
their
here.
heads down at once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, Peter, so he'll try a religion roll to see if he can recognise some of those names of angels or something maybe. Religion 23.
Okay. Looking at them, they don't match any religion you know.
What about history?
Yeah.
24.
They don't match any historical name from this world.
Who's the man? Who's the?
Yeah. Do I get anything from looking at the puzzle type?
Then it's probably written in
anything
French.
The puzzle type is what I'm looking at.
Okay, look at the puzzle type.
Where's the door? Is that the
And
man
there's
at the top?
repeated words, there's repeated
So where
bits
are you?
and pieces.
You think
I
that
believe I'm
pushing
You've got to be close to me, and I'll land on
There's also Eno here as well, and there. So it's,
they in
You landed
each
near a zebra.
name that is possible invokes a spirit of some kind.
Right, so you
And
do
there
you
would
know
be-
what they are to get anything useful out of it.
Or you just trigger a effect if you get it wrong.
Well, yeah.
Do you mention the concept of spirits?
I will mention what I have worked out.
And this is after reading all that France stuff.
Could I potentially look at it with a spiritologist craft check?
Yes, given you looked at the same stuff I did, which means you've got the spirit names.
Well, like I say, I was looking at it from a religion or a historical name. As soon as you mentioned you got spirits involved, then
Then
I'm
you
going
get
to,
interested.
if I go for a
Give me
spiritologist.
a craft check.
13. Where's my craft check? Oh, it's up in there. 20 for spiritologist.
Nice.
Okay, so looking at it, it seems that they followed a east to west style naming convention. Oh, sorry. West to east style naming convention.
So you're not going to get reversed ones.
But so is it the? Does it look like there are
So you
3 names of spirits or 5 names of spirits?
looks like there are 5 names of spirits, and the name is forward one way and reverse the other way.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But the
So-
reverse is in fact the name of another spirit.
It is the
Like
bottom.
if you're looking at, so
Oh,
you
no,
got
everything
Gohan
is
at the top
mirrored. I just
and
think
Ehog at the
Gohan-
bottom.
So Gohan is actually in each of the lines, right?
Yep.
You can
Well,
spell
Gohan is
this way,
Gohan
this way,
goes
this way,
all
this
all
way.
about the edge.
So you can
yeah.
go.
So if you go straight across, you will trigger one of the spirits.
Here, that way.
The
Yeah, but it's
does
mirrored move to left,
Pedadir recognise if any of the spirits are associated in particular?
So Gohan.
Unfortunately, you didn't get to those books.
Like whatever is this.
Okay.
It's also mirrored this way. and
There
mirrored
were a
this
lot
way.
of stuff you looked at, but
Everything mirrored
unfortunately
the
none of them were in the
sides.
spirits.
Yeah.
The
No, fair enough
only
then.
recognizing the spirit's name.
Now, are the other two just standing in the middle still at the moment?
The other two are still standing in the middle.
I have which? Okay, so which A am I standing on?
I'm gonna put you.
Which R am I on?
So the R in the corner next to the two E's.
So west
In the
to
bottom
east
corner.
to east to west.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so he'll be.
And Stefan is in the opposite R.
So you're over there.
It's the friends
So I'm
here,
here,
and you here.
So, yeah, I'm not moving. Myron's he's not
But
moving.
you,
I'm not moving.
he said that you actually got an E and an R,
Yeah, but then
pressed?
yeah.
and you got, which letters did you get pressed?
Z-A.
ZA and then.
Z, A, and R. Okay. Zar, and then A, R. Okay.
In the picture,
Yep.
are they doors at each end of the?
There are doors at each end of it.
There's only one of these names that you can spell without going in a straight line. Each of these repeats, but only one of them actually you can spell by stepping on different platforms, which is the E-R-A-R-O. The rest of them you have to go in a straight line in order to spell the spirit's names. So I reckon it's
Yeah.
E-R-A-R-O or the opposite way, which is this one here.
Okay, when I lifted my foot up off the
That one I
tile,
reckon.
did it stay locked in?
No.
So it came back up when my foot came off.
Did it stay clicked down?
No, it came up.
It did come up.
Which one came up?
Well, they basically all
What
came.
is that?
Okay, I'm going to cast
Previous one. goes
as a cantrip.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Do I have as a cantrip?
So you have.
No, I've got. So for a level 1 spell, so I'm going to burn one level
Yeah, I
1. I'm going to cast Bless on myself, and then put my foot down. So wait, I'm on that R. On the E that's below where I'm standing on the bottom rung.
It doesn't click.
Doesn't click at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so because of that, what's his name? Concentration's dropped on Wrathful Smite, which it would have dropped anyway because being closer than. So I'd never. Alright, so can I try on
So
the
you went
N
from
in the
the
bottom
R
corner?
to the E.
You step on it, nothing happens.
Yeah, I
Does it go
reckon it's
down?
a RR.
Does it move?
That sounds
Okay, so
entirely
it's-
plausible.
And the E on the other
Step
side?
And
It doesn't move either.
So
You seem to think you
So
can
the
step off the
Error
names at this
is
stage.
here.
Well, so you step from the E at the bottom.
So the R that I'm standing on, I've stepped on E and it hasn't moved. I've stepped on N and it hasn't moved. I've
And
stepped
the one
on
you
E.
stepped off moved up.
I haven't stepped off. I just want to put one foot on.
Then you can put a foot on it, and they don't move.
Okay.
But remember
Nothing
also
happens to me.
you're talking a 10 foot square tile, so your weight may be enough if you.
Oh yeah, forgive me. Sorry.
Big squares.
Okay, well I've just gone from E to N to E.
Mhm.
So I'm now standing on the E on the wall side,
And it hasn't moved.
and nothing's happened.
nothing's
R's
happened.
come back up.
Yep.
One of them says Huzzah.
Pedadir is trying to feel around in the dark room for if there is any heavy furniture or things like that, or
Give me
something
a-
solid that you can tie a rope to.
Give me a perception roll.
That hasn't moved. That hasn't moved. And
14.
and I've stood on
Okay. You move one of the chairs, and you feel a breeze coming at you from another part of the room.
Isn't the roof all along?
A breeze coming.
Yep. As if a door opened. And this one wasn't hot.
But not a hot breeze.
Not a hot breeze.
So presumably it came from the
But
green room.
on the same wall. Near the same wall as the hot room.
Oh, as if someone opened a secret door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Ooh.
R's come back up.
But it happened as you moved the chair.
Oh.
I will leave the chair in its current position and try and move over to that wall area and just see if I can see if there's a gap that suddenly appeared in the wall.
Okay, as you move there, you feel the ground start to go from beneath you with some stairs.
Yes. Okay.
Mostly
Okay.
goes back into this.
I will.
I swear to God, if he comes through that door.
Probably will.
And yes, you seem to have found a stairwell going down.
What are you guys doing?
Okay. Can I see down the stairwell?
Once you get below the level of the room, you can see
And what can I see down the stairwell?
a spiraling stairwell heading down, and behind the stairwell you see doors matching the room that you were just looking down into.
Okay. I will move back over towards the pit hole and tap all of them on tap each of the people looking down.
Okay.
And
If you get in at level 1, I can do 3 people.
try and yell at them or communicate to them to follow me.
Okay, each of you
You can pull it
gets a
off.
tug.
Yeah, it can target us because we can hear you.
Follow along with him.
Okay, and you find yourself descending a set of stairwell, so you didn't
Well, I
have
was
to
gonna say, actually,
you didn't have to
Martin,
fall through the roof. Yeah.
when we put our heads down through so we can see the light,
Yep.
can we talk to each other?
Yeah.
So therefore I can pass on the fact that, hey, I think I found stairs down just leading onto the other side of that door.
And so he takes you all to the stairwell, and you come down and stare at these guys standing on the thing, still trying to figure out what they're doing as they're going tap 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 tap, and nothing seems to be changing.
Yeah, because you've already found the thing.
We did.
So which door we come out on, Martin? The one like that starts with the effectively knee hog down from
Yeah,
okay.
the 101.
The near 101. Yep. Okay.
That's the door you came. That's where the stairs come down to.
Okay.
The that's the side that the bottom is a G and the top is an N.
Yep.
So he's at that door.
Yeah.
So he's on the opposite room of where
Yeah.
I'm standing.
Yeah.
Because there's bits on each side of that floor.
When that door opened, did anything happen in here?
Nothing happened in there. And the thing is, it's an actual opening, but there's just no light in there. So that they can see you because you're generating light, and you're lighting up the area around them.
Oh, so the room itself is
It
dark.
is dark.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You are the light.
Yes. I'm
It's always amusing when one of the characters is the light.
I will. Okay. After we come through the doorway and see the guys there, said, "Well, congratulations on finding our way down to the next level. We needed to get down to the dungeon, so well done."
And they're still looking puzzled while standing on a puzzle.
So,
Close to the.
Now I'm confused. This is or isn't solvable.
Because I'm close to the. So I'm standing on the E that's close to the door on the opposite side.
Do you want to step off it?
Can I physically reach the door without stepping on it?
No, it's more than 10 feet away.
No. So if I walk to the edge of the tile,
Mm-hmm.
can I touch the door? Is the wall is the tile right at the edge of the wall?
The number tile, the letter tiles are not. There's a 10-foot gap.
Oh, so I can just.
You can just step onto it. Onto the tile. You can step
Am I
off
still
the.
within? Am I still within a minute?
Still within a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna step
These
off.
things here.
So
are
yes,
stuck
you
in
step
the
off
door.
and you see in front of the door, and it lights up into a room behind it.
Oh, so the door open.
There is no door to open. It's just an opening.
so Martin,
Yep.
in the picture you sent, okay, that the 30-foot corridor that apparently we arrived in,
Yep.
that passage to the black. I'm assuming that's black room.
Yep. The room you were
So
just
okay,
in.
so that passage just goes back up again.
Yeah.
After that.
That's all it goes to.
Yep.
And then it opens up in the room across. So,
Yep.
and do you step off where the others are?
No. I want to find this damn curtain.
Unfortunately, the curtain's evaded you yet again. So if you come across a new one, it's obviously the same one.
I'll spend 5 minutes
We
searching
need
for
to
letters
find
and
him
then
a
I'll give
demonic
up
one.
and join the others.
And when you join the others, you see all the letters click up and...
Sorry, bad times.
I was going to say, so did you guys mention about the letters clicking or not clicking?
You hear the clicking as he steps off and comes towards you.
Okay.
But the E.
It's the curtain.
Because you'd all push letters. And then you got affected by it as if only one of you had pushed them. Because you're pushing them together.
And between you have to get the right ones.
Yeah, but between them they pushed 5.
Okay. I'm just sad I cannot spell go fuck yourself curtain from here.
You can try.
You
G-O...
employ a chanter to do it for you.
Yes.
Let's change it to a different.
So,
Get out paintbrush.
So that's done now.
Well, you're on one side and they're on the other.
Okay.
is anyone else looking at the other 3 people with Peridea? It seems we want to go forward because we did want to get down to the dungeon.
Well said.
Can anyone else jump 50 feet?
I have slow fall.
No. That's a
no,
no.
although
Or
I'm working
climb the
on being able to do
walls.
something like that
I
next
can
time
jump
I
30
change
feet,
my
I think,
spells
with
around.
my ring of jumpy jump.
That would get you more about halfway.
Well, but you're already on the other side, aren't you, though?
No, title came off your side.
Oh, okay, right.
So
So
Myron's,
there's 5 people on one side and 1
Myron's
people on the other, is that right?
opposite you. I just
Yep.
stood off the letter E, and I'm standing on what appears to be like a 10-foot kind of pavement around it.
A 10-foot unlettered area.
And
Yeah.
there's
Yeah, so like, and we're also in the 10-foot corridor on the other side. That's
And you can see into the room beyond them appears to be some sort of prison.
okay. That door's open, is it?
Yeah.
Is
It
now-
it doesn't actually have a seal. But you
Um,
gotta be standing in front of it to see through it.
Well, since it appears that the others won't be able to get across without running on tiles,
Mm-hmm.
Peter Deer will have a look around the space we're in and see if there's any other hidden doors in this area.
Okay.
Not looking at the photo at all.
Not looking at the photo at all.
But as I say, it's the idea being, hey, you figure there's got to be a way of getting across this without walking on the letters.
Hey,
So-
you know how I operate.
Yes.
I sometimes add things that aren't there, and sometimes take things out that are.
But yeah, so he'll basically have a search at each end to see if he can find any other mechanisms that would deactivate the floor or allow a bypass.
Can I do the same thing? So is there like a border around the whole thing that you can physically walk around?
No.
So it's just left and
just
right
at each
sides.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I walk
Two
up?
safe areas.
Can I walk up and down the opposite side, the side that I'm on, looking for
Yep.
the same thing?
Give me a perception roll while you do it, and Jeremy's doing a perception to see if he can find something.
20.
20. Okay, having a
Not
go-
an actual one, just total 20.
17.
having a look around, you feel around, and then you find a bit of wall that moves. And it opens in the southern part of the room you're in, on the side of the room you're in. So right beside the G.
Yep.
So I've got 17.
You look around, you don't find the same. You don't find anything the same. Your side doesn't move.
So I've gone up and down. No.
Peter Deer will have a look at the area and see if he can find any cracks on this moving panel. 16.
There are no tracks, but then there's no dust either.
Well, no, tracks. Okay, not
Tracks,
tracks,
okay.
but tracks. And if not, he will attempt to open the panel.
Okay. As you open the panel, you see four of those Megan creatures that you saw earlier, who turn and seem to go towards you. So the room contains a number of large vats and cauldrons, some of which contain iridescent, frothy liquids. Strange, possibly magical symbols are engraved on each vat and cauldron. Numerous tables and shelves, each holding flasks and vials of various liquids, solids and powders, are spread around the vast chamber. Standing against the east wall are four human-like beings. All are naked, though one holds a dagger, another halberd, a third bears a long sword, and the last one is weaponless but has 4 arms. And they have a waxy appearance and lack hair. Or any sort of anatomy.
Recognising these as the things that Tidal had problems fighting one-on-one,
Yeah.
Peter Deer came in to slide the door closed again very quickly and step back and warn the others that
Yes.
Oh, great.
there may be action.
Okay, and considering it is close to 10:30 and you have initiated a combat, next session will be where we pick up with what happens with their waxy people.
I'm on the side of the room.
So I'll see if I have pictures of them so you can see what they are like. And then you have to decide whether you rush across the room to help them.
Yeah, the reason Perdian was asking whether anyone else could get across, because he could fly across.
It is always fun when you can do that. So do I have there? They're called Demos Maiden. Okay, so that's roughly what they look like. These creatures like that.
Yeah.
But they don't have any real anatomy, so they're not really male or female.
So they don't need shorts.
Ken dolls.
But they put shorts on them because, well,
Because people would complain if you didn't.
Well, no. They put shorts on them because they need to know what colour they're representing for which corner of the boxing ring.
That's true.
that's
How
probably
do
the
you not
main
know
reason.
the alchemist supervisor just didn't like body parts? He said, "Oh, we can't have genitalia. Oh, I'm sorry. Gotta cover that up."
Well, there's a lot of extra work making all the shapes.
Especially considering they can't use it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, one of the artistic students might like creating to stop.
It does make an interesting side conversation.
There is one.
It is.
Thank you very much, Martin.
Oh,
Thank you, everyone.
Alright,
Good to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
We'll catch you in 2 weeks' time, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll put it on end for now, Jeremy.
Yep.
Okay, I'll catch you later.
Yep. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Tomorrow
Tuesday,
night.
yeah.
Tomorrow night is the next game.
All good. See you then.
later.
Or we find curtains. But there's always curtains. Okay then. Good night all. Thanks very much. Bye next time.